Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act pursuant to the Public Laws 1975. Said notice was advertised in the Asbury Park and Beacon, was posted on the bulletin board showing the time and place of meeting. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First proclamation is honoring Dawn Creamer. All right, let me read it here, and then we'll go to that. Whereas the Township of Lacey wishes to honor Dawn Kramer and her daughter Hazel for bringing a sense of community together of Lacey at the time when people felt the most alone by bringing Zumba and a fast-paced dance class that focuses on cardiovascular conditioning, balance, and flexibility set to music to our township. And whereas during COVID-19, when gyms were not allowed to host exercise classes, Dawn participated in outdoor Zumba classes offered by her gym and was able to bring her 7-year-old daughter Hazel, who has Down syndrome, with her. And whereas when the restrictions were eased, the gym resumed hosting exercise classes indoors. There was a maximum capacity due to COVID guidelines. She could no longer bring Hazel to her class. So in the winter of February 2021, Dawn began practicing her Zumba with her friends in Gilly Park instead of the gym because it was no fun without Hazel. And whereas in April 2021, Dawn made her dream of dancing officially by becoming certified Zumba instructor and hosting free Zumba classes twice a week in Gilly Park. For the only cost is a smile. And from June through November, in the park at Mill Pond School during the winter months. Whereas Zumba and Dawn averages 40 or more students at every Monday and Thursdays. All those who are dancing, exercising to the music while burning calories. Whereas Dawn's love and commitment to the family and committee is evident in everything she does, and has helped Hazel grow into a confident young girl who is full of joy and ready for anything such as paddle boarding with mom, riding a horse named Cinnamon, participating in a Zumba class, or playing with her friends on the playground. And whereas Dawn and Hazel have created a comfortable, fully inclusive atmosphere for people of all ages and abilities to enjoy an hour of Zumba and have great workout while the children have a play date to meet new friends. Whereas Dawn Kramer is an individual who has provided a greater service to Lacey Township and our surrounding communities by giving us her time and talent and her heart and her great sense of community. Now, therefore, I, Timothy McDonald, Mayor of Township of Lacey, do on behalf of the Township Committee hereby honor Dawn Kramer and Hazel Kramer for bringing members of our community through Zumba. Is she here?
Yes, she is.
Right there. All right.
I'm gonna get some photos. Jim, you've got the photos, right? Thank you.
That's right.
You come up there,
Mayor,
maybe she
go up
will
there.
when she sees you up there.
Hazel, come on up.
That's right.
Does she want to sit in the mayor's seat? No, let her be.
Everybody, it's all good. It's all good.
Thank you thank you.
Yeah, no different than any others.
Any
It's
other
kids, yeah.
young kid.
All right. Next one we have is a special retirement. Whereas the 9th District State Senator Chris Connors has announced that he is not seeking re-election later this year, and whereas Senator Connors has served 33 years of exceptional public service in the state legislature, first as assemblyman and later as securing a Senate seat, and whereas prior to his time in the state legislature, Senator Connors was elected to the Lacey Township Committee in 1984 and served as the mayor from 1986 to 1990. And whereas from 1982 to 1998, Senator Connors was the Deputy Director of New Jersey Commission on Capital Budgeting and Planning and served as Director during 1988 and 1989. And whereas when the service in the Assembly Senator Connors was a ranking member of both the Assembly Judiciary and Homeland Security and State Preparedness Committee. And whereas between 1992 and 1995, Senator Connors served as the Assistant Majority Leader in the State Assembly. And whereas throughout his years in the state legislature, Senator Connors received numerous awards, recognitions, including, but not limited to, 1996 Public Service Award from the Ladies Auxiliary of the Retired Police and Firemen's Association of Ocean County, the 1999 Citizens of the Year Award from the Bayville Veterans of Foreign War Post 9503, the 2000 the state VFW Commander. I read this before. I didn't pick that up. Commander of the 2000 Legislative Achievement Award from the State Retired Police Firemen's Association. The 2013 Robert B. Minor Award from the New Jersey State Bar Association. The 2013 Legislator of the Year Award from the New Jersey Conference of Mayors. Whereas the Township of Lacey and its residents are fortunate to have Senator Connors serve as their mayor, assembly, and senator, and his presence as the state legislature will be greatly missed. Whereas Senator Connors will now have more time to do the things he enjoys doing, such as boating, fishing, duck hunting with his friends, as well as spending time with his wife Debbie, son Christopher Jr., and his wife Jessica, his daughter Kelly, and her husband Brendan, and his 3 grandchildren, Reagan, Kennedy, and Miles. Now, therefore, I, Timothy McDonald, Mayor of Lacey Township, do hereby, on behalf of myself and the Township Committee, hereby honor and congratulate Senator Connors on his many valuable years of service and extends best wishes on his retirement from the Senate with continued success and happiness. Congratulations, sir.
Jim, can you handle the camera for us? Why don't we come down front here?
Bring it back.
Yes. So Chris, you didn't know anything about this, did you? You got it as a surprise.
We got
If you
you.
could read it again, I think that's the best part.
Ah, Kevin.
I'm not watching on.
Is her.
This
I will make sure
microphone
that
is
Look at the
gonna be
bottom
in the
of the
picture.
last
Come on up,
sentence, her.
guys. Tim, just move this out of the way. Yeah, put it over so that they can get in there.
Pretty cute.
Not in the middle of the picture.
Yeah, I'm not gonna eat it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Who am I giving this proclamation?
His wife, who else? His wife, she's the one who's done it all. Get in there, son.
Get in there. Everybody gather around. Chris, my pleasure. My pleasure. Let the little guy hold.
Thank you.
Oh my God, Dad.
I just say thank you so very much to the members of the governing body for the recognition. I appreciate it very much. This path actually started in this room like 40 years ago. Instead of
Sorry.
holding my grandson Miles, I think I was holding Christopher.
Oh.
At the same time when I was sworn in, at that time by my father, Dorothy Grant, who was the clerk. I cannot begin to tell you what an honor it has been to serve in any office, in any capacity. It is a privilege to do so. And I've been blessed with the fortune of a great district here in Ocean, Burlington, and Atlantic counties at the time. It's been an extended family throughout those years with all those folks that I've been able to work with. I will miss the staff in our legislative district office. Many of you that have contacted our office have been acquainted with them. I say jokingly, but there's a level of truth to it that if I were hit by a trolley tomorrow, it would be about 6 months to a year before you found out that I had passed. Great job. I have every reason to believe that that job will continue with continuity, since I understand the staff will be going with the newly elected Senator Carmen Amato, along with Assemblyman Rump and Assemblyman Meyer. But whether it's been here on the governing body in Lacey Township or in the state legislature. It has indeed been very, very much an honor. You know when it's time. You know when it's time when you start losing a little bit of the step. And after 34 years in the legislature and 40 years in public office, it gets a little bit harder to make some of those night meetings and schedule some of those other meetings with constituents. And if you can't give 100%, then it's time for someone else to step in. And so I felt it was my time to pump the brakes a little bit, spend a little bit more time with family and friends and my colleagues, and to help here in the town that I love so very, very much. So I want to thank you all for all the help that you've given me over the years, and thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Be careful.
Steve, you have any words you want to say?
Oh, yeah, no, Chris, it's been a pleasure having Chris as our senator for 34 years and another 6 on Township Committee. He's an invaluable resource for all of us, and in particular, the last few years that he's served as our legal counsel has been, some of the best counsel we've gotten. So, thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you, Sue.
Yes, I just repeat the same thing and just want to say how wonderful it is to see your family here. And I look forward to you spending some time with them. You know, that's the thing on the boat. That's
Yes.
the biggest thing. Enjoy every moment of it. Thanks, Chris.
I'm going to bring in Veronica. You worked with him for a while. You got anything?
Yes, I guess we can probably blame Senator Connors for getting me involved in this business when I was 16 years old. And when he was serving on the committee, he used to bring Kelly around here. She wasn't even walking at the time. She was crawling around the municipal building here in the offices as Chris came in. But I do have to wish him well in his retirement. It's been a long time that we've spent many, many years here together. His office and him have always been very helpful to myself and to the residents of Lacey. And without his guidance and his help, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I have to thank him.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Mark, what do you have?
So, remember when I first got involved in politics, my wife had gone to a function and Senator Connors had spoken. She goes, "Wow, he's really good." From me. But, Chris, known you since I first got involved. Just bigger than life. Amazing, amazing, amazing representative. And having you as a lawyer, you're more than a lawyer. You're a leader here. And having your experience, no better experience than someone who worked their way up. Yeah, you're a lawyer, but you were a committeeman, you were a mayor, assemblyman, and of course now senator. You could go back to being a committeeman. I can't really say it's great, but at any rate, Chris, thank you for all you do and you're going to do. Enjoy your beautiful, beautiful family. He's pretty cute.
He looks like a Connors. He definitely looks like a Connors, yes.
And they're pretty cute too, so. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Peter, what do you have?
Thank you, Mayor. Really short story. I guess it was like 16 or so years ago. I wasn't even a member of the club yet. I didn't know what I didn't know. I came home as a rookie from the Casino Control Commission to our house here in Lacey, and my wife said, Senator Connors called and said, "You're being put on a gaming commission." And I said, "What?" And I think his office is on Lacey Road. And I said, "A senator called you while I was at work?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, did you?" I didn't know anything, but I knew that you had to use the title. And I remember distinctly in the kitchen, I said, "Did you address him as senator?" And she said, "Yeah, I think so." Well, you have to remember. And but
Doesn't happen in my kitchen.
But I'm telling you what, Senator Connors' leadership and his humility. I mean, the man, you ask him a question, he knows it, but the way he delivers it, he never gets, doesn't appear to get upset. If he does, he hides it well. And I try to emulate him, and I can't. And so I'm grateful for you being here. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man.
Chris has been, you reach out to Chris, Senator, you reach out to the Senator, his guidance. And then many times people were talking to me about that we should do this, we should do that, and I would reach out to Chris, and he would, in his very calm demeanor, advise me, and I would hang up the phone and go, Yeah, Chris is pretty right about that. That's what we should do. And that's what you need from your council. Not, you gotta do it this way. He would, you know, the pluses and the minuses and look at different things and say, yeah, this is the way you should go. And of course, we did that. His beautiful family is just amazing. And whenever you see him, he's always got a smile on his face. Always has a smile on his face.
Incredible.
And I will tell you a story. I was down at the League of Municipalities, and I was at a cocktail party that I got invited to, and there was a Democratic senator in there, and I was talking to him, and I forget his name, and he goes, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Lacey." He goes, "Ah." He goes, "Chris Connors." I said, "Yes." And he looked at me, and he looked at me, he goes, "We miss him already." So when your peers say they miss you, that's a heck of a compliment. That's the best compliment you can get. And so I congratulate you on your retirement. All right. Okay.
I don't think we have anything else for the caucus agenda, so we can
No
take
add-ons?
it-
No add-ons?
No, so we could take an adjournment, and then we can allow those that like to leave, to leave.
Okay. We'll take a motion to adjourn for 5 minutes.
Just gonna say.
Move it.
Move it.
Second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We're adjourned for 5 minutes while we take a little break.
Pause in the
Family
tape.
go home.
All right. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act pursuant to the Public Laws 1975. Said notice was advertised in the Asbury Park Press and the Beacon and was posted on the bulletin board showing the time and place of the meeting. Please rise to the salute of the flag and a moment of silence.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First up on the agenda, first reading of ordinance 2023-32, affixing and determining the salaries, wages, and compensation of the Teamsters Union employees.
Ordinance of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending an ordinance entitled An Ordinance of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, affixing and determining the salaries, wages, and compensation of the officers, employees, and members of the governing body of the township. This is for the Teamsters Union. It is a contract from 2024 to 2028, and it has a 3% increase per year in salaries. First reading, so we
Open this up to the public.
No, first
Oh,
reading.
second
First
reading.
reading, okay. Make a motion on this?
Peggy did.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Resolution 2023-330, urging legislators to oppose A 5659, which concerns insurance premiums.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing,
And we're having a rough night.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, urging legislators to oppose A 5659, which concerns the dramatic increase of insurance premiums, including workers' compensation.
Motion?
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Resolution 2023-331, authorizing the execution of a Schedule C agreement with the County of Ocean.
Resolution in the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the execution of a Schedule C agreement with the County of Ocean. This is a cooperative agreement for shared services.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Resolution 2023-332, authorizing a leave of absence.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing a leave of absence for Lori Konechny. Motion.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Move it. Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Resolution 2023-333, authorizing a leave of absence.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing a leave of absence for Jensen under the Federal Family Medical Leave Act.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Resolution 2023-334, authorizing an extension of the leave of absence.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing an extension of the leave of absence for Richard Tupper.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Curatolo?
Sure.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Resolution 2023-335, authorizing the execution of an agreement with Foursquare Research Incorporated.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the execution of an agreement with Foursquare Research Incorporated for market study services. The township is engaging with a marketing research company. This is to assess potential opportunities for an indoor recreation center in collaboration with the YMCA.
Move it.
Second?
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, resolution 2023-336, authorizing the filing of a ARP NJ fire grant.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the execution and filing of an application to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for the fiscal year 2025 ARP New Jersey Fire Grant.
Move it.
Second?
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, resolution 2023-337, authorizing an amendment to an existing deferred compensation plan.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing an amendment and adopting a change to the existing deferred compensation plan with Corbridge Financial.
Move it.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, resolution 2023-338, authorizing a transfer of appropriations.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing a transfer of appropriations in accordance with provisions of NJSA 40A:4-58.
Motion?
Move it. Second?
Second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, resolution 2023-339, providing for the cancellation of unexpired authorization balances in the general capital fund.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, providing for the cancellation of unexpended authorization balances in the general capital fund.
Move it.
Second?
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, resolution 2023-340, authorizing the cancellation of old outstanding checks from the current and trust accounts.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the cancellation of old outstanding checks from the Lacey Township current and trust accounts.
Move it.
Second?
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, resolution 2023-341, authorizing the cancellation of old outstanding checks from the tax lien premium account.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the cancellation of old outstanding checks from the Lacey Township tax lien premium account.
Move it.
Second?
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Resolution 2023-342, authorizing an increase in the change fund for the tax collector's office.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing an increase in the change fund for the tax collector's office from $750 to $1,000.
Move it.
Second?
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, resolution 2023-343, authorizing the cancellation of taxes due to a disabled veteran exemption.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the tax collector to cancel 2023 taxes due on a property granted the 100% disabled veteran exemption and refund the resulting credit balance.
Move it.
Second?
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, resolution 2023-344, authorizing the refund of deposit monies.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the refund of deposits held for the use of municipal facilities.
Move it.
Second?
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, resolution 2023-345, the payment of township bills.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the payment of township bills.
Move it.
Second?
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, resolution 2023-346, accepting the resignation of a crossing guard.
Resolution in Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, accepting the resignation of Anthony Demuys as crossing guard for the Township of Lacey.
Move it.
Second?
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Monthly reports.
We're ready. For the municipal clerk's office for the month of November, receipts were collected in the amount of $9,399.90. Municipal court for the month of October was $13,545.17. Road opening permits for the month of November was $1,247. Recycling commodity for the month of November was $1,409. Truck parking for the month of November was $175. And the Community Development Department for the month of November collected receipts in the amount of $58,266. Motion to accept the reports is read.
Move it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Before we go to the next one, when we passed the bills, we forgot to announce how much they were for. Amy?
It was in the amount of $9,906,958.98.
Thank you. Motion to approve the township meeting minutes from November 21st, 2023.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, motion to approve the caucus meeting minutes from November 21st, 2023.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes, motion to approve raffle licenses for Lacey Elks 2518.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve membership in the local Harbor Fire Company for Michael Glenn.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve junior firefighter membership in the local Harbor Fire Company for Adam Klismic.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Comments from the committee?
I have one add-on.
Oh, we
Yes,
have an
some
add-on.
add-ons, we have
Okay.
some
Go ahead.
Ordinance 2023-33, first reading of an ordinance of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of public land to LFA Urban Renewal LLC, the designated redeveloper. Motion?
Move it.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Comments from the committee? Deputy Mayor Kennis.
No comments at this time, Mayor.
Okay. Committeewoman Giuliano.
I just want to remind everybody that, just to put this out there, tomorrow we're having our wreaths delivered for Wreaths Across America that we will then lay on Saturday at Good Luck Cemetery here in our town. And with all the good work that the group of people that put this together in our town here, more volunteers, we've sold over 480 wreaths that will be laid at the Good Luck Cemetery. And last year, we had over 200 people attend the service. And if you're available Saturday, it's 12 o'clock at Good Luck Cemetery, and we'd love to see you there. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Dykoff.
Yes, so this will be our last meeting before Christmas, so I want to wish everyone who celebrates Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. Tonight's the last night. Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, and happy Festivus for the rest of us. Thank you.
Committeeman Cortello.
Thank you. Two short announcements, Mayor, if I may, this evening. The American Rescue Plan application deadline for businesses is this, the 12/18/23. Ocean County Division of Tourism and Business Development is accepting applications. If you have questions, call the director. Her name is Sandra Lazaro in downtown Toms River, 732-929-2000. That's money that's just out there. So if you're eligible, apply for it. They're looking to give it away. Also, some good news. New Jersey Monthly Magazine named Forked River, not Lacey Town, but Forked River, which showed a preferred Lacey Township, one of the 10 best towns to visit in New Jersey. You can Google that. It's a well-read magazine, and it's the author was Jill Capazzo. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to everyone, and on a personal note, definitely Senator Connors. A man's man, stout, stand up, full of integrity. Appreciate your guidance and your leadership, and hope you're with us as long as you need to be, as long as you want to be. So thank you. That's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Couple of things that I have. I attended the Ocean County Mayor's meeting this morning up at the Ocean County Technical School in Brick. What a wonderful place. And just want to say that, you know, not all our kids are meant for college. And the tech school is a way. You know, we were talking about it, some of the other mayors, try to go get a good electrician today, or a good plumber, or something like that. It's kind of difficult to get them, and they make a very good dollar. There's nothing wrong with working with your hands. So if you have a child who you think may not want to go to college, may not be college material, that's fine. Investigate the Ocean County Technical School. We've got, I think, 5 spread out throughout the county, and they do a wonderful, wonderful job. And they're getting a lot of businesses to donate money to them so they can get the programs up and going. So it's well, take a look at that. The other part of this was brought up this morning, and you need to check the state calendar on Monday. There's an agricultural committee meeting, and that is where they're going to vote on this Governor Murphy's new green energy bill, which is, as I understand it, I didn't get a chance to check it out today. will be taxing or putting taxes on all fossil fuels, natural gas, everything else like that. And we'll be, they're going to pass it on to us.
You're going to destroy our shores.
Now, but here's the thing. And only as Trenton can do, no public comment, voice. You can go on and put your comments in writing and send them out. So I would go to the state website, go to the calendar. It's Monday, the agricultural meeting. There's a place you can put your comments in and so forth like that. So I would encourage everybody to do that. And my last comment is I wish everybody a happy holiday. Thank you very much. Okay. Comments from the public. Anybody? This young lady in the back. You can pull the mic. Just state your name for the record, please.
Yes, Catherine Barron, can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's not going down right. You got to twist the whole bar if you can pull it down,
There you go.
Okay.
just so we can hear you.
Good evening, Catherine Barron, Forked River. After reviewing the proposed project for the municipal complex by Johnson Controls, myself and many other taxpayers do not approve. It is human nature to desire new and improved, but in this present economy, we are paying almost double for everything just to live. We, the taxpayers, are being stretched beyond our means and feel that a project of this ambitious magnitude should be put up for a referendum. There are many taxpayers that do not even know that this project is in the works. It seems that there must be more transparency so that we, the people, can make a collective decision with our vote. This town is smart enough to creatively fix our existing municipal buildings and move ahead with projects when the economy approves. We elected you to work for us. Please hear us. Thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Hold on a second. I'll get to you, Steve. Hold on. Anybody else? Steve, come on out.
Steve Barl, Forked River, New Jersey. Happy holidays. I'm here as the spokesperson for all the taxpayers who do not want you to spend all our money on that municipal complex. It's not needed. You didn't do it by the law so far. You signed financial documents without telling us. And I'm going to go through what I feel and what others feel about the inappropriateness of what you're doing and that you're not hearing what the taxpayers are saying. We had a town hall at the library the other night, and the people were appalled when we put out the numbers and told them what was going on. So anyways, when we get to numbers, Mr. Mayor, do you have a number for the new township complex of which this committee is going to approve?
No, I don't have that.
You don't have a number? Okay.
Not that we're going to approve, no.
Okay, because the last time I asked it was like 3 weeks ago. So in 3 weeks, you haven't met with Johnson. The committee hasn't talked to each other about a financial number that you guys are willing to live with and sign away our rights, which you already did on that pre-construction agreement, and are going to cost us, without consent, at least $250,000. At the very least.
We had a meeting with Johnson Controls on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Tuesday. It was a Zoom meeting. It wasn't in person. It was a Zoom meeting. Myself, Mr. Kennis, Veronica was in there, and Casey Parker was in the meeting too. What they proposed, we had 5 different financial models for us. We asked them to send the spreadsheet so we could understand it better and pull it apart. I think it came in last night or this morning. We got it out to everybody today. I haven't had a chance to, because I got to wait for the sunshine, got to wait till executive session to talk about it with the rest of the committee, which will be tonight. Whether we accept it or reject it, I have no idea what they're going to think about it, and we go from there. So
Are you going to have a town hall meeting before you sign another
We
document?
have to,
You have to.
absolutely. It's done by resolution, and it's in a regular meeting where you'll have time, when we do this resolution, it'll say, is there any public comment on that? And then you guys can come up on,
Okay.
just on that one there, have to.
Well, I will say, which I'm going to continue to say each meeting, the way that you notify the public is by a law from 1976. It's outdated, it's inadequate, and the people still don't know. Even at the library meeting the other night, there were a number of people, it was their first time that they heard that the township committee has deemed this building uninhabitable, or whatever you're deeming it, because you don't really talk about it. You never gave me any estimates of what it would cost to update this building or fix it. There's been many alternate ideas from the people here, 4-day work week, work at home, split shift, using another building such as the one you just bought from the Knights of Columbus, or on the, what I understand, on the complex of the power plant, there's a 3-story vacant building. Why can't you work out a deal? It would hold everybody, including the police, and you could make a deal with those people, and then maybe when everything comes down, the interest rate, construction costs, or anything, and the committee saves some money towards the project, maybe, only maybe then will you get some backing.
Veronica, we did talk to the,
Yeah, we did talk to the power plant. It's not a vacant building, and they are using that building. We actually, years ago, when they
Yes.
first proposed to close the power plant, we approached them.
Who's using it?
They are, Holtec.
Holtec is using it.
Yes, we actually approached them about using the building.
Well, I was told that it's vacant. So,
no.
you're saying it's not. I'm going to research it further.
okay.
But they
Okay?
told us now. They
All
told
right.
us no.
So you don't have a number. You mean to tell me you met with Johnson, and they don't have a number?
They have 5 numbers.
Okay, what are they? What are the numbers? Give us the 5 numbers. In fact, give us the lowest
Well,
one and the
it
highest
really
one.
wasn't numbers as different numbers. It was different financing options.
Right, different
It was
financing.
different financing options as to determine which way to finance this.
Right.
Many different ways.
So you just finance, you don't have no number that you're basing that on. I don't understand it. I believe you guys are know the number, but you're not disclosing it. That's my position. Okay. Okay. And I'll give you an example about the non-notification. You have an opportunity every year to put out this tax notification. Every year, every taxpayer gets it. There is not one mention of the new municipal complex on 4 pages. Can you tell me, Mr. Mayor, why on a 4-page document, right here, mailed to my house, it tells you how much the taxes are, how to pay them, and some recycling and garage sale stuff, and storm pollution. But not one word about the new complex. Can you tell me why, Mr. Mayor?
No, we didn't even think about it, and, you know, it is what it is. We don't,
Okay. So before they put out this 4-page document every year, no one in this room, none of you guys have input or say, okay, let me read it. Okay, it's okay, go ahead, print it, nothing? No.
Monica handles all of that.
The
Okay.
department heads put it all together. There are
But
certain
department
things
heads
that are
put it all
required by law to be put into.
Can you tell me your reason why you didn't put the new municipal complex in there?
So that there are certain requirements that have to go out annually.
I don't want to hear about requirements and other stuff. Why won't you notify the public? Excuse me.
First of all,
Well,
No,
I
let
get
me-
frustrated because you don't want to give me any
let me-
answers.
Let me talk.
Go ahead.
In November of 2022, we held a special meeting right here in this room to talk about the P3 project, in which Johnson Controls was here, and their partners. This room was packed,
Right.
okay? It was packed.
Did they agree with it or disagree?
Wait, there was some, there was, excuse me.
We're not going to
excuse me.
call out from the audience.
No, let me talk. Let me
Take
talk.
control, Tim.
Let me talk, okay? There were some that were against it, there were some that wanted to find out.
They wanted to find out.
wanted to find
Did you reveal numbers?
What's that? No, we didn't have any numbers at that point in time. You keep asking that. We keep saying we don't have any numbers. Now, we say this.
I don't believe you.
You know what? I'm done. You know, Steve, anything that we say, you don't believe, that's fine.
That's my entitlement. I'm a taxpayer.
That's fine.
I'm entitled to my opinion.
You're right. I didn't say you
I
weren't.
didn't curse at you. I didn't threaten you. I just said I don't believe you.
Steve, did I say?
Do I have a right? Ask me that. Answer me this.
Did I say you weren't entitled to
Mr.
your
Connors, do I have a right to say that I don't believe the mayor? Yes. Okay. All right. Now, let's get back to you're saying how you notified the public. And I want to ask this question and have each member answer it in their own
opinion?
words.
No, they come to the chairman.
Okay, it'll go to you, but that's what I would like to have. On the recitals, right here, this is the pre-construction contract that I believe the mayor signed, and I want to get a signed copy if I can. A copy of what they agreed to without telling us. So, Part E on the recital, it says, whereas on or about the 17th day of November, Township determined that the project was in the best interest of the public and authorized representatives of Township to negotiate a proposed public-private partnership agreement with Johnson Controls. I believe that statement in itself is against the law, that the public-private partnership requires transparency financially and proper notification. So I want to ask, what I'm asking is that each committee person explain to us how you determine how it was in the best interest of the public and whether or not you took in consideration the amount of tax that's going to increase in order to do this. So can you tell me in your own words how you determined that it was in the best interest of the public, Mr. Mayor?
Well, first of all, as you said, it's a negotiation, and we could walk away from it at any point in time.
But there's a penalty.
Not when that was signed. Not when that was signed in 2022. We didn't sign the pre-construction until April of 2023. Now, let me finish, okay? So, we negotiated. We can stop negotiations at any point in time. That's all we're doing. We're negotiating.
Yeah, but if you terminate it now, you're going to owe Johnson $243,000.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right. And we will
And
get
your
all-
attorney,
Well,
and
hold on,
your
hold on.
attorney, whoever it was, I guess Jerry, of course I see Jerry's name, he told you that that's a good thing to do? To get, you know what I equated on? Just let me make one comment.
Mr. Barr, it was our law firm.
It was what?
It was our law firm that indicated to the governing body that it was a legal document, that it was legally enforceable, and that they were permitted to sign it. Now, we don't compel the governing body to sign it. We don't tell them that they shouldn't unless there was a provision in there that didn't comply with the law. Now, if you were going to build a house, you would go to an architect. You would sign an architect, and I would imagine he would make you pay for plans to be drawn, even if you decided not to proceed with building the house. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So it's no different. That document that they signed is a legal document. They were entitled to sign it.
Okay, let me tell you the difference, Mr. Connors. The difference is when I hire whoever to write up plans, it's coming out of my pocket. You guys are costing money that's coming out of our pockets.
They always do. Even tonight, how many millions of dollars were spent?
$9.9 million tonight, bills.
$9.9 million, almost every other week, is spent by this governing body, comes out of your pocket.
Yeah, and the Haines
Well,
Street light.
you know, when I hear about the money you're
All I can
spending.
do is give legal guidance. That's all I can do. I
Okay,
don't make the
all right. Well,
decisions.
you're saying that this document is legal,
Correct,
that they signed in April,
correct.
and that it's got termination penalties at each stage that accumulates into millions of dollars. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that's a good thing that they signed it.
I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that it's a legal document to be signed.
We-
Prices.
But as an-
Now, if you came to me and you wanted to buy a Cadillac, I wouldn't tell you as a lawyer that you shouldn't sign a lease agreement or the installment sale because you get a better deal on a Chevy. That's your decision. So the penalties in there is a decision that was made by the governing body based on what the cost would normally be, soft costs, for engineering and architectural fees, which I would say, based on my knowledge, and I have a broad sense of knowledge with regard to capital projects, having been the executive director for the New Jersey Commission on Capital Budgeting and Planning, that is within the percentage of anticipated construction costs. So it's within that realm of the cost. In fact, it's less.
Well, you know what? You're comparing public money with personal financing stuff. To me, it don't make sense. To me, I just can't believe. I'm not an attorney, but I've read a lot of legal documents in my lifetime. I cannot believe, and first of all, Johnson wrote it. You guys didn't write it. I can't believe that an attorney would say, go ahead. Now, you don't know if you're going to do it, but every time you back out and it gets to the next level, you're going to pay them money
Any
for
mortgage
nothing.
document you sign, any installment sales contract that you sign, any retail agreement that you sign is not written by the customer. It's written by the individual that you're acquiring the improvements or you're acquiring the asset from, okay? We did make revisions to the
Okay.
agreement. We
You-
did make revisions to the
It-
agreement.
it does.
Now, I will say this, you're entitled to your opinion.
That's right, I am.
Opinions can be very vast. You might think it's a bad.
My opinion reflects the majority of this township.
It may be. It may be, okay? It may be, I don't know.
Okay? Okay? That's the truth. That's the bottom line.
All right.
Go ahead.
And I'm saying you're entitled to that opinion, okay? But if you're questioning the legality of the document, I'm telling you.
I am questioning it.
Okay. Well,
Because it was signed and there was a monetary penalty without public notification and financial transparency.
then let me-
That's part of the
then let me
PPP
give-
law.
Then let me, and I'm not here to give you legal advice, I'm here to give the town legal advice, but I can say generally, if you feel that something has not been done legally, there is a recourse for that. And since you know that there's a legal impediment in that contract, I would suggest that perhaps you and I will be facing off in court. Okay? You have the option to bring.
Oh, absolutely. But it really bothers me that I got to go through that when we elected you guys to represent our best interests. And you're not you're not reflecting the reality of the financial circumstance that most people are in today.
That has nothing to do with.
Sure it does.
That has nothing to do with the legal parameters of the document.
Look, you guys got a legal obligation and you have a moral obligation to do what you're supposed to do, and you're not doing it. So, you're not going to let each person tell us why it's a good idea to spend the money? No, okay.
I believe you got the answer that you don't agree with.
All right, on this, also part of this agreement is a cover letter from a lady named Jean Abbott, and it's going to, I guess, you guys. And it's to Veronica. It says, attached is the final turn of the document. This incorporates the changes Jerry recommended with a few minor adjustments. It has also updated the schedule of payments to show that they are commutative, to show that they go and add on. It's not like, okay, you did this, you don't have to pay the $243, you only got to pay the $773,000. This is clear that they put it right out in plain English that each thing is going to be an accumulating penalty. So my question is, why in God's name would the attorneys have the mayor sign this if you don't know if you're going to do it? It just don't make sense.
So-
And what else don't make sense?
Attorneys didn't have anybody do anything.
And let me add, we authorize hundreds of thousands of engineering projects a year. And
Not
it's
one
not
like
all the-
this.
We do it all the time, and not all the time do we go through with some of those projects. But you have to get the cost down from architects and engineers in order to bid projects. That's how
Okay.
it works. So, for
What-
example, the railroad right-of-way was engineered in its entirety, whenever we built that 15 or the portion, and we did not ultimately go through with all the plans on the railroad right-of-way. So we ended up paying for engineering that we ultimately didn't use yet. We do it all the time.
Okay,
And not only us,
let me
every
ask you
board
this,
prior to
Mr.
us.
Kennis. Tell me the last engineering project you were involved with here, other than municipal building. Oh, don't look at Veronica.
Lake Barnegat.
What is it?
Yeah.
Every one of them. We pass them all.
Well, tell me what the last one was.
The Bamber Lake Dam, we just authorize, well, typically how it works is we authorize engineering, I want to say like this year, but then the project may not start for 2 years. Because it takes that long to get all the.
The Lake Barnegat
engineering-
light took 8
The Lake
years.
Barnegat light took
8
from, that was
years.
8 years.
What about the Third Lake parking lot that's closed up every summer?
I wasn't on the committee then.
Huh? Oh, you weren't on the committee then.
That was 2006. And that was mandated by the state to make.
Yeah,
all those
we're
changes.
mandated by the dams. Every dam that's been replaced so far has been mandated by the state.
And we pay for it, the taxpayers?
Unfortunately,
You
yes.
pay for everything.
Okay. All right. Well, I wish that when you guys spend a lot of money, I said this before, that the girls talk too fast and no one has a statement to further explain and justify the money spent. And because there's none of that and everyone just votes yes,
They're
it
ladies,
gives
by
you
the way.
guys more let me
They're
finish.
ladies.
Excuse me?
They're ladies, not girls. They're ladies.
Ladies.
Thank you very much, sir.
Ladies.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
you
sir.
know.
I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, next subject. You signed the pre-construction agreement in April with its penalties.
Yes.
They're not penalties.
Not- If we walked away today,
You need, yeah, they're doing work. You can't, he's 100% right. You don't ask somebody to build you a house without knowing what the plans are.
Well, then again, we go back to non-notification, non-town hall.
We do it all the time.
No
Well,
financial
no. Wait a second.
transparency.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
No.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
all, it is all public at our budget meetings. Every single thing we do is voted on at whatever meeting is. When we did the engineering for
When'd you
dams,
notify
when
the
we did-
public you were signing that?
If it's on anything on the agenda.
That wasn't on the agenda. That you were signing this?
yes, it was. You were at the
You
meeting.
did the authorization of an agreement.
All right.
It's
all
all
right.
done at a
You were-
town.
Okay,
Hold on,
I'll
listen,
concede it was on the agenda.
Let me finish. You were at the meeting, and you actually spoke at that meeting in
Okay.
April.
Okay.
You didn't even mention that. Now, all of a sudden, you think we're hiding it because you didn't see it.
Look, I did not see that document until
It was on
October.
the agenda.
October I seen it. I
was
didn't see
on-
it in April.
was on
No,
the-
I didn't.
It was on the agenda
You're
in
wrong.
April. Okay.
Now, let me ask you this.
Can't sign it without.
You
it being on
signed that agreement with Johnson. To me, it's kind of like a trap in the woods for a wild animal. You guys put your foot in it, now you're caught in it. You got our money caught in a bear trap right now. That's what you got. Now, my question is, in April, you sign our rights away without telling us, in direct violation of the public-private partnership law. Yes, it is. It's right. I read it all the time. You got requirements. What do you tell them after the fact that you spent their money, or you tell them ahead?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, why, if you already got all this commitment with Johnson, would you then commission an engineer to do an addition here that costs the taxpayers either $34,000 or $35,000, and you're not even going to consider it? Can I,
You're talking about the Steve, you're talking about the renovation costs for this building and the police headquarters, correct? Is that what you're talking about?
right here?
That's the engineering report, correct?
That's it, $35,000.
$35,000, and it came back at $34 million to renovate this building, let me finish, and the police.
Because,
Go ahead,
Steve, let
go
me
ahead,
finish.
go ahead.
And the police headquarters. Now, the problem with that is that that doesn't take into the fact that, let's say we decide to renovate this building and the police headquarters. We got to rent trailers for probably 2.5 to 3 years at $100,000 a month for those trailers. We got to hardwire them in. We got to put bathrooms in there. We got to put a pump in there for the waste and the water. It would cost us another $10 million roughly to do all of that, okay? That's what has to happen. And wait a minute, and that's why we did that, just to determine if it was worthwhile to go forward with the renovation or to try the new complex. That's what we did.
And I said, Steve, I said this to you last meeting, from the Jersey Shore Online.
What's that?
Bear with me. I said it last meeting, but there's a lot of people that weren't here last meeting. From the Jersey Shore Online newspaper, November 9th, 2021. Barnegat, the Edwards School. The Edwards School, they had a choice in Barnegat. They were getting quotes from the article, between $21 and $25 million. Barnegat. What did Barnegat wind up doing? They tore the building down because they realized it was not money well spent to rehab old stuff. And that is my opinion as well.
Well,
To that-
a
to
brick
that point,
building
Steve-
has a life expectancy of 100 to 150 years. This building, I see nothing wrong with it. Okay? I don't know
In
what
addition-
happened to that school.
In addition, and
That school was probably built in the 30s. When was that school built?
you're
Probably in the 20s or the 30s. This building was built in 1969. It's a brick building.
And I've told you this before. Let's use Barnegat's numbers as a rehab for this building for 20 to 25 million. It would be something like that. We got the quote, 35 million or whatever it was. We're not getting a return on that money. I'm a taxpayer just like you. The Lacey Road and Route 9 corridors are our only rateable properties. This is, the point of this is to expand the base so we can minimize the taxes for everybody else.
Look.
In addition, when we're not just spending your money, it's our money too. We all live here. And so I object to the fact that we're going to spend $25 million on commercial property without collecting property taxes on it. That's my opinion.
Okay. And you're a builder too, right?
I am.
Okay. I again asked the mayor to form an advisory committee made up of committee members and taxpayers so we can go door to door and look at this building to see why it's the problems with it, and go to the other building and the police station and review all the problems it has so we can make a decision and come back and tell the taxpayers the condition of the building. Can we form an advisory committee, Mr. Mayor?
We hire professional engineers who do this for a living. They're certified by the state of let me finish. Certified by the state of New Jersey. Are you a certified engineer? No. That's why I depend on engineers to do this job. Are you a certified engineer?
Yeah, but I'm not
Are you a certified engineer?
No, I am.
Okay,
No,
so
I'm
you
not.
wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. And there's
Look, it isn't that complicated. You guys, you can laugh all you want. You guys are the ones that came up with a 32,400 square foot addition on this building. And that's for a total of, I think, 48 people. So do the math.
How are there 48 people? Where does that math come from?
They told us last meeting, 30 people here and 18 from the other building.
Please don't speak out of turn.
Rocky, I'll get to you. I'll get to you, sir. I'll get to you.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you're
Go
going
ahead.
to get a chance. Okay, all right. So someone came up with this 32,400 square foot addition. Who came up with that? Whose idea was it?
So it was-
The engineer said that they had to work off of your information.
Okay, so that same engineering firm previously did what was called a feasibility study. If we were to build a new building, what would be the new space that you would need? So based on input from every department head that had questionnaires to answer, this is where they came up with the square footage of the building, based on space that you need, filing cabinet storage, the number of employees per offices, and of course, what's called an ADA circulation element that you have to have around each workspace, so you have it compliant with American with Disabilities Act if you had anybody in your facility that's disabled, whether you're a visitor or a worker.
And that justifies 32,400
Yes, because
square
what happens
feet.
is because we would be doing more than 50% improvements to our buildings.
Now, that's a,
Let me
go ahead,
finish.
go ahead.
The downstairs of these buildings where we have offices located in the police department and in the municipal building become unusable for office space based on today's codes. So now, again, the laws are crazy, but that's what they are.
Are all the other townships in compliance with that?
As long as you don't make more than 50% improvements, you could stay the way you are.
Well, that's a good subject matter for an advisory committee, is to take the 32,400 square foot addition and figure out how it would work with 48 people to make sure they got enough room.
You know, can I just interrupt you for 1 second, Mr. Barrow? I'm not saying that you don't have a right to speak. I just wish that you would take a minute and understand that these aren't all decisions that we make. As you just heard Ms. LeRae say, is that we have to meet codes. It's about codes. It's not like we just wake up one day and say, we want to build a building 33,000 square feet. We don't just wake up one day and say that. There are codes. If we change anything, we have to meet the new codes now, not what was done 40 years ago.
Or you don't have to do it.
You know what?
Or you don't have to do it.
And that's fine.
Or you don't have to
If you
do it.
want me, every time we have to make a decision, to reach out to you, I'll gladly do that. So when I order a $1 million fire truck for our township, should I call you? There you go. There you go. I'll take care of that. I'll put that on my agenda of what we have to do from now on, every time we have to do. You put us in this position so that we can help make decisions for our town to grow properly, to not go backwards. We cannot live in a building that was built in 1969.
I live in my house, who was built in
You're not
64.
understanding what I'm saying. The codes have changed as a township. That has nothing to do with us. That has nothing to do with us. Excuse me, I'm talking. Excuse me for what?
Hey, Steve's got the floor. You have to wait your turn.
Steve, what I'm saying to you, when I said about it's not meeting the codes is what I'm trying to say. The police department alone cannot continue the way they are. Cannot. We're breaking laws, if you want to use that expression.
I believe you are, everything I read. I mean, I can make an intellectual determination
terrible that you think
it
this is
says
a
you
joke.
do this, and that
terrible that
before
you
you
think
spend
this
money.
is a joke.
But you went and spent money first, got your foot caught in a bear trap, and now we're all screwed.
That's your
Hang on,
opinion.
Mayor, could I?
Yes.
Hang on, you wanted to hear from a couple of people. I haven't spoken to you. I respect you. I told you as far as I know, you're a veteran. You've been here since '62. That's longer than I've been alive. I got respect for you. I'm going to show you respect. I'm going to try to convince you. I'm going to try to tell you where I'm coming from. Okay, so historically, about 22 years ago, no one wanted, there were a lot of people, a lot of loud voices, didn't want the rail trail. Now it's done, people use it, it's a back entrance for the church, it's an evacuation route. It alleviates, in case something ever did happen with the plan, it alleviates traffic on 9 and Lacey Road. People couldn't imagine the town without it. They said hell no to Home Depot, to Kohl's, to Aldi's, to Walmart. Now, it used to be in the old days, my colleague at the end of the podium over there said many years ago when we first ran together, astutely, and I have not forgotten it, Deputy Mayor Kennis, Now that people don't have to go to Tom's River or Wall Township to buy bottles and formula and nails and things like that. They couldn't imagine not having Walmart, Home Depot. May not like some of those things, but guess what? They have become such a convenience that people don't even need to leave this town anymore. So when we talk about moving forward, you heard Deputy Mayor talk about, you know what I don't like, Steve? I don't like the fact that, I mean, I want our female officers over there to feel comfortable, have places to, take care of their business. It's not big enough over there. We're splintered over here. We have our community development people on Route 9. We have a barn at the corner of Lacey Road and Route 9 that, thank God we sold that community hall, because every April, we got to dump money into it. We're talking about, over the years, anything you could imagine as a person that you put into your house, magnify that by an exponent of 5. That's what we put into that building, this building. It's good money after bed, but the worst part, you heard the mayor talk about TD Bank. I think it was like $60,000 a year. Because that is a tax rateable now, there should be a business right here that we could get good money for, because it's at the apron of Parkway Access and Egress, Parkway Exit 74. Somebody would pay for this plot, and then we would get money. Then if we got money from that in tax revenue, I wouldn't have to come to you in your pocket and raise your taxes.
You'll
You
never
have to
get
look
nowhere
ahead.
near it, man.
You have to
You're,
look
you're,
ahead.
you're, you're, you're mixing marbles and pennies with millions of dollars.
You have to look ahead.
I like the statement you made that we don't have to go to Tom's River or here to go to Walmart. That serves the entire public. You guys did promote it, that it would save and not raise taxes. Our taxes have gone up every year since '97, according to your website. Has just gone up every single year. Now, I wouldn't have to drive out of town, whether this building stays or you build a new one, to pay my taxes. So you're talking about two different things. This is to serve us, this building. That's what you got to justify, not relate to what happened 20 years ago with the rail trail or anything. We're talking about this building being uninhabitable. And if it is built on top of a dump, I don't think you'll be able to sell it, because any reasonable buyer knows that once they touch the ground, it's going to cost them millions of dollars, and that's in the engineer's report. So anyways, let me move on. I got two other items. One is the confidentiality clause. This is also built into the pre-construction agreement. Now, in that recital, when they said that they had our support, it specifically said a public-private partnership could start. So that's when the law gets enacted, when you reference it. In here, in this confidentiality report, I'll read a little bit of it, not to put you to sleep, but it's pretty important. New Jersey Open Public Records Act. Notwithstanding the foregoing, project company Johnson and Township may disclose proprietary information to their affiliates, member institutions, subcontractors, vendors, suppliers, employees, lenders, investors, counsel, accountants, or advisors who have a need to know such information and have agreed to keep such proprietary information confidential. So we got confidential information, and the people we can tell have also got to keep it confidential. From who? The taxpayers. This law has been on the books for 5 years. 5 years. Believe it or not. Not one municipality has bought into it. So you got to figure Johnson's got to learn how to do it better. Let's get them. We got to trap them now. Instead of being nice and saying, hey, can we build this whole new project for you? And a non-solicited proposal, which I find very suspicious. Non-solicited. What they're saying is no one here solicited Johnson to come up with this multi-$100 million project. That out of the blue, Johnson said, hey, Lacey Township needs a new municipal building. Hey, let's make a proposal up for them. It just stinks. It's not the truth. It is not the truth. Now, getting back to that confidentiality, I would actually like to ask the mayor if each committee member could tell us why it's so good that nothing about the project is disclosed to us, and you even signed that you would agree to that. Is this why there's no number, Mr. Mayor?
It's to protect proprietary interests.
Well, what about our interest? Where do we come in? We're the ones paying for it. Where does our interest come in?
Your interests come in because we cannot supersede the Open Public Records Act. You're protected by the Open Public Records Act. And that is,
You gotta come up to the mic.
I'm just asking him to answer.
No, you gotta come up to the mic. You gotta get it on the record.
He just said proprietary.
Wait, sir, you gotta come up to the mic, because we gotta get a record of it. Thank you.
He just said proprietary. I just explained what he said. That's all.
I'm trying to explain to one person at a time, sir, okay? Let's just for 1 minute. If you have questions you want to ask, if you have statements you want to make, you come to the mic, you make the statements you want to make, you ask the questions you want to ask. If everybody interrupts everybody, you're not going to hear the answers to the, sir, I'm not going to have it,
No, we're talking to
I'm
everybody.
talking to everybody, okay?
So just answer what
Can we
he asked.
just be respectful?
Please,
I
sir.
just don't understand it. I really don't.
I'm talking to everyone who's here, okay? You're the only one that's talking out of turn, so if you feel offended, I apologize. You're talking out of turn. You have not been asked, so
Elaborate what you were saying, that's all.
I'll elaborate when you get up to the mic. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Barlow. I'm sorry they cut into your time. Go ahead.
Okay. The committee's position is that if they somehow agree to go along with this, which I know they already made their minds up, they pretty much already told me that they are going to go for it, even though they say they're not sure, or they don't know, they don't have a number. And that you're going to do it without a referendum vote, right, Mr. Mayor? You're going to do this without any of us voting on this. If you decide to spend 100 or 50 or 150, you yourselves are going to do it without us voting.
Well, no, not necessarily. Well, actually, after that, you voting? Yes.
That we vote whether you could do it. And how are you going to be able to get under the 2% law of the state of New Jersey?
Right, I'll let you do this.
When you borrow money and bond money, the 2% law doesn't come into play.
It doesn't say that. So you could spend, theoretically, you could spend as much money
As much money.
as long as you don't bond it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying to bond money, we could spend as much money as that we're allowed to by the financial professionals when they say how much indebtedness we're allowed to get into.
Okay.
I'm not saying
So
we
with
could-
this, you don't have to do that?
No,
With the public-private partnership?
it's borrowed money, so no, it's not within the cap law. It's outside the cap law.
Steve,
So you don't have to go by the law, and you can spend all our money?
I don't know. And Steve, just remember one thing, is that if we decide, and we still got to send it up to the state for their approval with all the numbers, and they will look at it and make a decision, yay or nay. If it comes back nay, we got to move on. If it comes back yay, then we have to make a decision.
Okay,
It's
so-
another step that you're completely wiping out. That the state will look at this, the financial state, they will look at this. They're asking for a ton of numbers and things like that, and then we send it up to them. They go over it. I would imagine there'd be a couple of conference calls or Zoom meetings with to explain the numbers, and then they'll make a decision. And then when that decision comes back and it's no, the project's dead.
Okay.
If it says yes, then at that point in time, we have to make a decision. And that decision, again, it'll be in a township meeting, it'll be a line item resolution, and which there will absolutely be permission for public comment on that one line item. Promise you.
So if you go to the Treasury Department and they shoot it down, do you got to pay Johnson the $773
We're not at
mil-
that point. We're not at the 700,000 point. No,
No?
we're not there. We're at the, what are we at?
You're not at it, but if,
No, what he's saying is if we make application and we go to the next step.
Oh,
in
yes,
that thing-
yes.
Yes, wherever we're at that point, yes, we're obligated to pay it in that pre-development agreement.
and
You are correct.
you also had to, okay, so you would have to pay $750,000.
If
Yeah,
we're
wherever
at
we
that
should
step.
be in that. in
And
that
you're
chart.
taking that gamble.
Well, no, we haven't done anything yet.
Well,
That's the whole thing.
What is that construction agreement then if you haven't done anything? What is that?
That's-
It's got everything you said it's
That's
we
the engineering
you guys
agreement.
said that we want it. You guys say that we're not going to tell anybody, and
200,000.
you guys say that we're going to get termination penalties
That-
left and right.
That is the engineering and the plan development phase of the project. And if we walk away, we have to pay the 200,000, we get the plans, we get the engineering, because we paid for it. It's as simple as that. Now, that means we could use it down the road. If we decide, okay, we're gonna hold off on this for 5 or 10 years, those plans belong to Lacey Township, and the engineering report belongs to Lacey Township, and we can use those down the road if we decide to go forward.
And we'll just pay for them so they go down the road.
If we decide to put the project down the road, yes.
Okay. I reviewed what this township brings in annually. The tax records on your websites only goes to 21,
Okay.
okay? And it said total collections was about $87,801,504.08. Okay?
That's taxes, right?
Huh?
Is that taxes or what? What is that?
It's
Break that down
from the
for me.
tax account. It says annual taxes or whatever, collectively, everything put
Does
together.
it talk about fees?
Okay?
Is there fees in?
The taxes.
Tax, okay? So, I still believe that you're still required to the 2%, but you say you're not. So 2% of $87,801,504.08, 2% of that comes out to $1,756,000, okay? Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish?
$87 million is not
You're saying
ours.
the wrong
all of
numbers,
it.
so
It's
should-
taxes collected,
But a
community.
portion of it goes to the school, 64%.
Okay, I
of it goes to
understand that.
school,
I
and
understand
about
that.
20% go to the county.
But doesn't the 2% ceiling?
No.
Okay. All right, well, then I'm just doing this for a matter of record, so everyone knows what it's costing. Okay, so legally, it appears that the township can raise our taxes for the whole town $1,756,000 without our consent. They don't have a number on the building, but in the beginning, they said we're going to spend at least 50. So sticking with the low number, 30 years interest at 50 million comes to $119 million we're on the hook for. That figure does not include insurance, electric for the new building, heating the building, water for the building, maintenance salaries of Johnson employees plus benefits, township employees plus benefits. So that $119 million is a low number. So when I divide 30 into 119 million, I come up with $3,966,666.67. So that's what it would cost us on the low end. On the low end, that they're going to make us pay without us having an opinion or a right to vote on it. So legally, they went over their 2% by $2,200,636.67, above and beyond what they can do, because this is not a bonded project. So why don't other towns do what you're doing? Just go through it where you can't vote on it, but we're going to raise your taxes because we didn't do it this way. No other town has bought into it. Please, I'm asking you, terminate the contract tomorrow.
Thank you for your time.
Your glasses, Steve.
Okay,
Steve, your glasses.
Your glasses, right there. Anybody else from the public? This lady back here. Sure.
Hi, my name is Donna from Forked River.
Last name, please.
Neil.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. So I hear all this. I'm I'm a little dismayed. There's so much going on in this town. We have this whole municipal building project. We have the Maxim Road project. We have the windmill turbines going on.
No, they're over.
They're done.
They're gone.
I know, but there was just an article in the paper that our wonderful governor wants to, push this further.
Correct, but that's going to be down the road years.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I think so.
So
Sir,
I'm just saying,
Please don't interrupt. No, you'll have your chance.
Realize if I wait, I'm gonna forget all that.
I'll give you a pad, sir. I'll give you a pad and my pen. You can write it down so you don't forget. No, you come up here.
so like I said, I said the last time I was up here, I've only lived here for 6 years, and I'm a senior citizen. And I think I speak for a lot of the senior citizens in town. This is a very scary time for all of us right now, not just for the seniors, but for everybody. We don't know what's going on in the world with a world war. We are hitting inflation like we can't believe. We don't even know if the stock market's going to crash. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is not the time to even contemplate a project like this. It's not even the time. Put it to the side. Let's just wait and see how things evolve. I'm no for this project. I've said it before. And we are getting out there and notifying people of what this project is about because they really don't know. I pick up my granddaughter every day from school in Lacey. And I ask parents, they don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm like, I know you're busy with school, sports, and this and that, but you've got to really pay attention to what's happening in the town. I asked them, could you afford to pay more in taxes? They're like, are you kidding me? People can't even come here to rent anymore. We're turning more Section 8s over than ever before because people can't afford to rent here. We've got the affordable housing in there already. And now we're planning on this Maxim Road thing, which you can't, there's no way those poor people are going to come out of Maxim Road and make a left-hand turn on Lacey Road. It's going to be a death trap. So I urge you to reconsider this project. Stop it. I agree. And I'd like to just show a hand. Show of hands. How many people are against this project? How many people are for the project? Nobody. So we're just trying to get our point across that nobody wants this. And we will get more and more people to the point where it's packed, and you will begin getting all our emails because we're against it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. Are you coming down to speak? Are you coming down to speak, sir? Okay, come on down. State your name and
Roger Lang. Just a question, I get confused with information.
Sure.
So, I'm sure you guys know. In 30 years, after we pay off this mortgage or whatever it is, these payments, 100 million, whatever, who owns the new complex?
Lacey Township.
Okay, so it transfers to us and we're the ownership?
Yes.
Okay, thanks for clearing it up.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I'll get these. This lady right here.
Hi, my name is Terry Krupinski, Forked River. I wanted to reiterate what the woman said. I am also a senior citizen, but I'm concerned because people are struggling, really struggling. I moved here 6 years ago, and my taxes have just about doubled, and I'm in a senior community. Whether you're a young family trying to make ends meet or people trying to afford a home, and I'm hearing what the rents are. So, this is really not the time to be in such bad inflationary times to do something like that. I taught in Toms River for 10 years, and I worked in the oldest school. It's 150 years old, okay? They're not knocking it down. It's a brick building. They are making renovations, but they're making do. When we have to repair our homes now, we're doing fix-it and this and that. But we're not knocking our houses down. I worked in a crowded room. I had no air conditioning, but I did it. because I had to. So I just want you to think about that. Another thing, many people that I know have expressed to me that they never heard about this. And I know you had an announcement in 2022, an open meeting. Most people are busy working, they don't go. It wasn't in the paper. She found out about it on the Lacey Patch just recently. Where's the flyers? Where's the announcements? There's no information in the papers or anything about it. So the majority of the people really don't know about it. Another thing is, yeah, we like the development. Believe me, I like the convenience of Home Depot and all that stuff. But I wish you would build some quality restaurants. We're sick of... I'm telling you, if we get one more fast food, it makes Route 9 look like a junk corridor. We want to have a little bit of quality in this town. Okay, Burger King and Popeyes and Wendy's. You know, come on, let's have some good stuff. How about a Panera Bread, you know, at least?
Who's going to open it?
With all-
People
we
come
don't
with
have
money.
control over
We don't
We don't have
control
over
that.
that. We don't determine who.
What
comes
are
in.
you going to do with that, where the old community center was there on the corner? What's that going to be?
That was sold, or it's in the
That-
process.
It's under contract
Mm-hmm.
to be sold. The developer, Mr. DeGeorge, is looking to contract with somebody to build something on that site. But until he makes application to the planning board, I am not sure what he's putting.
Because, you know, like you come down Lacey Road, there it is. So do we want to see another fast food restaurant there?
Ms. Krupinski,
But
we,
there's nothing we could do if somebody wants to come in and
Yeah.
put in a fast food restaurant and it meets the
Yeah.
code.
when
I
people
know.
say that about our corridor, I say go look at other corridors to the north of us and to the south of us.
I didn't say they're great
Ours
either.
is the Taj Mahal compared to other towns. I stand by that statement.
But I'm just saying is, just be aware that people need to be informed. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Merry
Thank you.
Christmas. Anybody else from the public? Come on.
My name is Karen Hall. I've lived in Forked River 56 years. Well, whatever, it's the same thing. You tax me either way. My taxes, I've lived there. All of a sudden, 5 years ago, they decided to make it commercial property. So my taxes went up to $14,000 a year. The business on there was an auto body shop. Had been there for how many years? 40, 50 years? Then all of a sudden they decide, oh, we should make the whole block commercial. So one place did become a realtor place. But all the rest of us were just homes. And we're paying for our own taxes. It's baloney. You should not have the right to spend this kind of money without us voting whether you can or you can't. It's not fair. And they say, well, you know, it's old building. I have a brick house. It's old. But I update it. I put new windows in, put new doors in. It's like a brand new house. You could do, obviously, you haven't done anything around here. You can see it. Look at the chairs. Like, are you kidding me?
You must be angry at something I said. You're looking only at me, but that's okay. Listen, I
I'm
got thick
angry with this
skin. I'm
whole
good.
town.
I'm good.
This political baloney. It really is.
I like politics even less than you do. I can assure you.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else? Barry, you're the closer. We get Rich down here. You can close in. You don't yell at us, Barry.
Good evening, Lacey citizens. Okay, first, I want to thank Senator Connors for his service to our community. He's a great gentleman, very kind man, professional, the kind of people I like to deal with. Thank you for your service to our town and to the state. Okay, so couple things. All right, so a question, and this is to Veronica. Okay, so if we were to do this Johnson Controls project, which is a lease purchase, correct?
I wouldn't say it's a lease purchase, that they are the funding partner, so we will be paying them just like we would pay a mortgage company.
Okay, so there actually will be a bond?
No, there wouldn't be a bond.
Okay, so then how would you get around that as far as the debt servicing go? Doesn't it have to be?
No, it doesn't have to be a bond to do that, but it does fall into debt service.
It does.
Mhm.
So that means you could do $500 million if you wanted to.
I don't believe.
I'm just-
I don't believe we
If
can
we met
bond
the
that much
financial
money.
standards,
I'm just
yes.
saying, yeah,
If we met the
okay,
financial
yeah.
standards, yes.
All right, okay. So that answers the question. Also, there were comments made tonight about doing things to this building. So if you do less than 50%, then you can do a lot of work on this building. It can just be 49%, correct?
I'd have to ask an engineer. I'm not an engineer.
But
on
isn't that what you just said tonight, 50%?
Well, that's what they said, that for if you do a certain amount of work, you have to bring it up to current code. So, and that's usually is the 50% mark
Okay.
that you do that.
So what if you came up with like a 5-year plan, which is what I recommended a couple of meetings ago?
That would be up to the governing body.
Yeah,
to
a
decide if
5-year
they wanna do
plan
that.
of doing things over 5 years and working on things immediately that need to be done, like replacing windows or working on the roof or, changing offices or doing that kind of thing. I mean, that seems like it would be a more logical, and you probably would get a lot more support from our community than you have right now, which is kind of zero. So, and I think I said this 2 years ago when I spoke here, and I said when I first talked about this, it was 2 years ago.
November of 2022.
Yeah, no, it was 2 years ago.
November of 2022.
Right. No. I came 2 years ago. Last year is when we had Johnson Controls. I came the year before.
Okay.
Before anything.
All right,
I knew
I
about
apologize.
this,
I
right.
apologize.
I said then that if you moved forward with this, that we would have, a lot of division in the town. And you can see it's building and it's just continuing and, and it will continue because the people really, well, you've admitted this, some of you have admitted this, that you've handled this all wrong already. And you know what? It's a shame because you're elected to do things correctly, not incorrectly.
But we're not perfect.
No, you're not. But we don't want to hear that from our politicians. You're the elected leaders, so take responsibility.
We took responsibility.
Right, well, and this is why you're having opposition, because you didn't handle it correctly, and that's all with due respect. Sorry to say that a lot of people in the community, and this was quite obvious from the town hall that we had on Monday night, the feeling is that individuals do not feel like the government is in touch with, they feel like the government is out of touch with the citizens that it represents. And that's, when you have that disconnect, it's really a terrible thing. Again, I brought this up with the group that I have a vision to change this to a more democratic type of a government where this wouldn't be happening, where if we had the type of vision of a government that I predict we can have and put place, each section of our town would have a delegate who would represent our area of the town, and that person it would be their job to be discussing with their constituents in their area the things that are happening in the town and getting feedback exactly how they're feeling about this. I mean, it is a little bit shocking and appalling that 5 of you are making up the decision that this is in the town's best interest when it's in your best interest. And basically, this is the question I have. I want to know what's in it for you. I mean, really?
No, we're
It's
just
very
trying to do
sad that you
what we
say
think is
that,
best.
to be very honest with you. That's very sad
Well,
to speak that way of us.
Well, let me explain something to you. I've been involved in politics since I've been 13 years old. I ran a state agency in probably the second most corrupt state, New Jersey being the first. I understand and have seen deals that have been done. One hand washes the other, give and take. I'm not stupid. I've been around.
Sad that you're that
Jaded?
jaded.
Oh, well, that's what happens when you've been exposed on a much larger level than here. Okay? And this is the
I've been
reality.
exposed. My uncle was the mayor of the town that I lived in was Northburg in Hudson County, one of the biggest, corrupt areas in the state.
So
of
are
New
you
Jersey.
shocked by my statement?
No, I'm not shocked by it. I'm appalled by it because to me, that's all you're focusing on is that somehow or another, the one comment was we're lining our pockets.
Look,
Check us out.
I-
Check us out. That's
my
what I'll say.
question
Just check
is
us out.
thi-
I don't know what, you know what, let me ask you something. Let me
Yes.
just ask this. If I was to tell you that we could build the building without raising the taxes, would we be allowed to
Actually, if you want to know, that's what I was going to suggest. If you are so passionate about this, why don't you try fundraising? In fact, I have a better idea. Oh, wait. No, we can create a foundation.
I wanna-
No.
Let
Let
me
me
explain.
explain.
May I please interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
So, just so that you know, I think it was in the springtime of last year, the YMCA contacted us. We did not contact them about the potential of the indoor recreation center.
Okay.
We've had several meetings with them over that time. They want to come in and partner with us, whether we build it and they lease it from us, or we build it and they run it, the whole bit. So we're talking about that.
Okay.
All right? So we are trying to fundraise. We have been working very hard on fundraising. The fact that the wind energy thing, which I saw you were happy about, went down. I saw that on Facebook on you.
Yes.
Okay? That cost this township a lot of money.
I'm sure it did.
Okay? A lot of money. So again, we want to make this revenue neutral. That's the objective. And that's why we are taking our time, making sure that it's the least impact, because we're all taxpayers here, every one of us. So we don't want to see our taxes double, and we have said from the beginning, from the very beginning of this, before it was even public, if the numbers don't work, we won't do it. That's been the mantra since day one.
Okay, that's fine, but to me, it's like, what are the numbers don't work?
We won't do it.
No, but what are the numbers that don't
Once,
work?
that's what we're waiting. That's what we're working with Johnson Controls, negotiating with them, trying to get to that point, seeing what the YMCA wants to do, and other people we plan on talking to about helping us out.
Right.
If
I
they
understand.
don't work, we won't do the project. We have said that from day one.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm hoping that that's the way things will work out, personally, because I don't really want any of these people's taxes to have to go up.
I don't
They're
want
already going up too high.
I don't want their taxes to go up anyhow.
Right.
Anyway, none of us do.
Right.
None of us, because we all
Okay,
pay.
so that's a good point. So at the last meeting, you weren't here, but I was speaking to you,
Yes.
and I asked you about a code of conduct that
Yes.
I would like the township committee to basically embrace and put forward. And the reason why I say this is this. This is the way I view it. It's like when this is the public's and to be able to speak when we come up here, okay? And if the person is doing an address like I was and being interrupted by a rude member of this body who has done this to many people in the past, and so to stop that behavior, when someone is addressing, and then if one of you want to add a comment, you professionally ask the person who is speaking, can I add to that? If the person who's doing the address from the public says no because it's interrupting their train of thought or whatever, then you can do that after they are done. I mean, this basically, it's to allow, unfortunately, this has happened on a number of occasions, and you wonder why a lot of people don't come up here and speak. You wonder why people don't come to the meetings. Look, I listened to people at our town hall talk about what happened at this last meeting. And, when I was up here trying to speak and make an address about something that I think needs to be done. I mean, it's out of control. And, wait, excuse me,
I'm sorry.
Mr. Kennis was acting as the mayor. It's his job to conduct the meeting. Now, aren't we following Robert's rules of law, Robert's rules?
Veronica
We can let
is-
Mr. Connors
Yeah,
answer
we
that question.
should talk.
No.
Obviously.
Well, to follow Robert's Rules of Order, you would have to actually adopt Robert's Rules.
Right.
And there are many aspects of Robert's Rules of Order that aren't really applicable to what we do as a governing body.
Right.
Principally, regardless of whether we did adopt Robert's Rules, we're governed specifically by the statute. So the statute would always supersede
Right.
any rules, such as the Open Public Meetings Act.
Right.
And so we can set parameters for public discussion.
Right.
And I think it's reasonable to do so, because it is a two-way street, okay? Members of the public have to be respectful to the individuals that sit at the dais, and they have to be respectful for people that are at the microphone.
Right.
So certain principles that I believe are very important, that I tried to convey earlier, is that when people are speaking, the individuals in the audience should remain quiet, should not burst out and speak out of turn until they're recognized. Individuals in the dais should not speak until they're recognized by the chair. All questions and comments should always be through the chair. That would be any Robert's rules,
Right.
no matter how you read it. And that's the way it should be conducted. So individuals have the right to express their opinion, as forcefully as it might be, as distasteful as it might be to individuals receiving it. Sometimes it's not easy to accept criticism. You know, that's just the way it is. It's human nature. But when a question is asked from someone where you're standing now, and you're very respectful, you should be you're the model of what people should follow when they get up here, is that when a question is asked, you give an opportunity for the individual to address it, and then through the chair, and not cut that individual. So nobody should be cut off. I mean, this is everybody's town, and if we talk out of turn, we're not going to hear the answers, which then only leads me to believe that in some cases, people aren't interested in an answer to the question. That's not why any of us should be here. So you're right, there should be some parameters, and I think that it would be beneficial to announce them at the beginning of the meeting, just as we announced read the Open Public Act statement. When it comes time to public participation, set certain guide, just to reinforce for anybody new that's coming here, and that we all know and understand what our respective roles should be.
That's a wonderful idea.
Mr. Bidnick, respectfully, I'm sorry, can I just, because you're obviously referring to me, so let me just give you some insight on why I do what I do. And it kind of goes to, you made accusations about this whole committee that we must be on the take or we must be corrupt. Give me an opportunity. So I've been up here for, I'll be going on my 18th year. And I've watched many people, including yourself, come before this committee. And when someone makes an inaccurate statement, I'm not going to call it a lie, a misstatement, misstates the facts, I try to, or I feel compelled to straighten out as best I can. So let's go back to the last time you were here. You came up and you made a point because I had left the room because an individual had said something, and where I interrupted you was when I believe you mistakenly, deliberately left out a very important aspect where you didn't know what that individual said. So let me reiterate what that individual said.
I'm not, wait, before you go on.
So you're not going to
let me finish. I said at the meeting, I didn't care what she said.
You didn't care, so, okay, so you didn't care. Okay,
Again,
so
you're doing exactly what you did the last
you're not
time.
going to let me finish as
No,
usual.
this is my time to speak.
I'm respectfully asking.
I
Chairman,
didn't
can I
give
be
you
recognized?
permission.
Chairman, can I be recognized?
Mr. Dykoff is recognized.
I'm recognized, okay? Most of the town council is made up of self-serving, back-patting, smug morons who think they know what they are talking about. There are a couple of female members who care. The men are idiots who think being up there will make their man parts bigger. Now, Mr. Bidnick, do you think that is acceptable to say about this esteemed body? Do you think that's acceptable to say?
First of all, I didn't write
It's a yes
that.
or no answer.
No, it isn't.
Well,
Because
you
know what? We
defended it.
have a thing in America. Wait,
defended it.
excuse me.
Okay.
Excuse me.
I'm done.
Let him answer.
We have a thing called freedom of speech. I don't have to condone somebody's freedom of speech, but they have the right to say what they want to say. That is not the point. The point is that a taxpayer who pays your salary.
Again, you have with the salary.
Okay, yes, but you are being paid. Who pays your salary, who you were elected by, you don't turn your back on them and walk out on them. That is so disrespectful.
Okay, hold on. Let me interject here. That went out on the internet. Mr. Dykoff called me about it, and we talked about it on the phone. He came to the meeting that night, 2 meetings ago, and told me he was going to walk out in a form of protest, which is fine. We have that right too. We don't surrender our rights because we sit up here. We had the same right. His walking out was a form of protest. Doesn't matter whether we approved of it or didn't approve of it, the rest of us up here. He has that right. And that's what it was about.
Okay.
I find what was said about us to be vile, and I didn't like it. Okay? He decided to walk out in a form of protest and not listen to it. It happens every day in communities throughout the country.
Okay, so if you were working in business and you were having a meeting and you just decided to walk out on your boss, which is the people, and
Well, no,
say,
wait.
No, let me just finish. And you were decide to walk out on the people who employ you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to hear what they have to say or you don't like them. I'm just using this as an example, okay? You would be fired.
Not necessarily.
Well, yes, if you worked
No.
for me, you would be.
Well,
So, unfortunately.
But I've sat in meetings where people have walked out because they have disagreed with the president of the companies. It happens all the time.
Well-
CFOs and presidents are notoriously don't get along.
Right, I'm sure that they do. But I'm just using this as an example.
Okay.
I see it as problematic, okay? And so, again, it sets a bad precedent that you're not listening, you don't care what the public thinks, and it just rolls over again with what I've been saying before, that what we have isn't working for we the people. Okay, so I'm going to move on to something else.
Well,
I hope that you do.
Before you
Yeah.
move on, I did the next day, called Veronica, and had her research it,
Oh, good.
okay? Both ours and the states.
Okay.
95% of it, am I right about that 95%?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
About the,
Yeah, I can't say yes.
had to deal with graft. That's what it was, handling money.
Oh, code of ethics, or.
Yeah, the code of ethics,
code
right.
of eth- when
But
you were
what
talking
about a code of conduct?
Right. We didn't look at that, and that's where,
Okay.
Mr. Connors looked at the Robert Rules of.
Right.
Right,
Well,
so
I would
that's where we
appreciate
came
that.
from. So we have, you asked.
Yeah, no, I
did it the next
appreciate that.
day.
I know that you probably would, because you
Right.
wouldn't know that I wasn't going to probably let up on it.
Of
So,
course.
I mean, so I appreciate, Veronica, you doing that.
We got you down, Mr.
Yes,
President.
exactly.
We got you down.
So, Mr. Kennis, I just wanted to remind you this. You are a real estate person and property developer, but when you come into this building, your interests no longer matter. You're representing the people who elected you. So when you talk a lot, I hear you talk about, you're wearing your developer cap, but you're not. When you're in here, you're representing me and all these other people who are paying your salary also. Not to represent your interests, but to represent our interests. Just be clear about that. That's,
And I just want to remind you that I pay taxes in this town as well.
you do, but you also are representing 30,000 people.
Right. And
Right.
also, because of his experience as a developer and dealing with this stuff, we rely on him. So it helps us with that way too. So yes, his personal opinion does matter because we consider him to be an expert on it.
I know, but what if someone has their own agenda?
I would tell you this, I mean, I don't think.
Try to spend money
can
with
I
Mr.
say-
Kennis, it's not an easy thing.
Ask him,
He's the toughest of them all. to
Oh,
get a
good,
job.
good. We like to hear that.
In
but-
addition to that, I know you've been sort of picking on our form of government. I think this is the best form of government because there's none of us can, just run the agenda. You could sit there and say, I'm going to run, like, I want the building and I want to do this. There's 4 other people, they have their all vote, we're all 25% vote, including the mayor. There's no extra vote as the mayor, so if they don't want to do something and I do, and it's 4-1 against me, well, then we're not doing it. And
Yeah,
it works that
I
way.
understand that, but you know what? The thing that I find very distasteful on the local level is the R and the D.
Well,
That's what I want to get rid of.
Even though
So-
you
Let me
have a
just say this.
nonpartisan, and Manchester is a perfect example of that. There's still R&Ds.
go.
Same thing
Well,
with
you
Jackson.
can be still a
Same thing with
Republican, but you're
Stafford.
not running as a Republican because you don't have a party that's, you understand what I'm saying.
I know, but it still is Republican or
Well-
Democrat. You saw how the support
Go
went
look
for
at
them.
Tom's River, and they have the awards, and that's an absolute disaster.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the way we're looking at it.
And more government is not always better.
Can you give
Because
me
if
an
you think
example?
that- So you're gonna represent your neck of the woods, I'm gonna
Correct.
represent my neck of the woods.
Yes.
So now we're gonna play against each other because I want, let's say, a fire truck and you don't. So now we're gonna bargain, just like Trenton does, to get a bill passed or something like that, and you're gonna swap off deals. It's not always going to be better to be bigger government.
Mr.
Well,
Bentley, just
it's
one
called
question.
democracy.
Can you just give me an example of what municipality you would like to mirror?
Well, there are, I think, what is it, 82 or 83 townships or governments in this town that don't have any
In the state, you
R or D.
mean?
Yes, in the
Okay, so
state.
what I know in Ocean County, have you looked at any in Ocean County?
we have been,
That
but
are
we're-
nonpartisan, that you would mirror?
No,
mean,
I don't want to mirror anybody
So
else.
you
See,
want to
this is
create
the
a whole
issue.
new government?
We're looking at the Faulkner Act, and we're
Okay,
looking
okay.
at the way that we can tailor it, what would be best for our community. And then the
Okay.
people will actually get the chance to vote on it, because it's their town. You see,
So you
and,
don't have a mirror or an example?
I don't have a
of
mirror, 'cause we're
what-
still working
so
on-
all new?
well, no, I have some ideas, like a mayor that will be elected,
Well,
who
yeah,
will have
that-
no
okay.
vote, no vote.
Okay.
They will run the meetings, they will pick the committees, but the entire
Okay, a Faulkner
delegation,
Act.
that kind of stuff.
I understand
Or
what a
like
Faulkner Act is, but I'm asking you, have you looked at other municipalities that work?
We have.
A model that works. What
Well,
municipality
we've looked
works?
at Tom's River as one.
Okay.
No,
And
I'm not
it's-
saying
and
that
it's-
it works.
it's
I'm
not-
saying
it's partisan, not bipartisan.
we're
Tom's
looking,
River.
we're looking at what different communities are doing. But the issue is, we're looking at what's best for Lacey.
Okay.
Okay, so it's probably going to be a hybrid of several different, okay? But the point is that what we see is nine.
You
'cause-
need legislature approval if you're not going to follow one of the ones.
No,
that-
it's, no, it will be, but they give you, like, there's 13 different, so you have quite a few of ability to do different things. But the issue at hand is this whole municipal complex that you want to do it really has opened up the eye that, you really don't know what the people are feeling, and you're making these decisions. And when I was thinking about this, I'm like, for all of us, it would be great to have a government that in our local area, because we have lost control. Throughout the country, we have government in Washington and in Trenton that's making decisions that we have no control over. So can we at least have one place where we can have control? And actually, I do envision, and I am a globalist, so I do look at things on a bigger picture. I see just things being actually more conducive to where people feel like they have a voice, where we are feeling like we don't have a
But you
voice.
still have a voice, and no matter if you have 5 governing body members sitting up here, or 7 or 9, it's still going to be the same with those 7 or 9. So you have your choice to.
No. You know why? Because all of these people are elected by 30,000 people.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So in
it's-
our district,
I see
we'll
what
be
you're
able to
saying.
have the person who lives in our area, is dealing with our issues, that we can go to and talk to, and it will be their job to actually reach out to the residents in their area. Like the Forked River Beach thing that I was talking, we're having right now. This is the perfect example of where this could work very, very well. And, look,
We're going to just say, Peggy, Committeewoman Giuliano has reached out in that area.
she has, but she doesn't have the ultimate authority to be representing. See, the way I look at this,
No.
No.
That's where you're wrong. She lives in that area. We would depend on her to talk about what her neighbors are saying.
right,
Okay? And we would listen to them.
right.
And
But
that's
see,
what we do here.
in my vision, she would have the authority, now, just listen to this, where she would do all the negotiating with the people that live over there, have the meetings on her own, not all of you having to do it. She would meet with them, discuss, and come up with a consensus from the people that live there. And then she would come back, that representative, to the whole committee, and then you would vote on whatever they
And it's still gonna be
decided.
voted down. No.
So we voted
Still be
down.
voted down.
It can be.
Or
It
a
could
deal
be.
is made, Mr. Bid, or a deal is
It
made.
could be.
I've seen the way those government works.
It could
and-
be.
And a deal is made.
It could
I'll
be.
give you this if you
know
give me
what?
this.
4 of you could make a decision, and you don't live over there because you just don't care. I'm just saying it's not really of
Wait a
importance.
minute,
to you.
Mr. Bidnick.
You understand
how-
what I'm
I
saying?
know what you're saying, but I just want to say, it's not that they don't care.
Well,
I just don't, I want to restate that, because
Right.
it's not that they don't care, it's just that we take a value of what needs to get taken
Of
care of.
course.
It's just like, at the last meeting, someone did say that Bamber's neglected. Well, we don't neglect Bamber. As soon as we get a phone call, especially like my husband, he was very active in Bamber. He was up there, they needed the dam fixed. he got on them. He got on these guys and said, we need the damn.
Yeah, I actually take exception to that. I
Right.
don't live in Beach Boulevard, but we redid Bayfront Park.
Yep.
I don't live in Bamber, but we redid the playground there.
We did a lot in Bamber.
The
I
last,
really do. I mean, I
spent-
don't think anybody, I guess we're so angry at us, they're so angry at us that they're not taking the time to see all the good stuff that is done in this town. God,
Well, but you
just
see,
don't see the good stuff.
if we had a representative who lived out there who was actually reaching out to the people and explaining to them all these things, it would also help with that kind of anger that you're talking about. What I vision, it would be a much easier working ability for everybody in the long
I
run.
completely disagree.
You-
I mean,
well,
you're
I know
gonna-
you disagree.
You're going to get some, Mayor, if I may?
wait, let me
Go ahead.
just say, we have spent, let's deal with Bamber. We spent millions of dollars over the last 4 or 5 years, millions of dollars to bring the playground and
Didn't get
everything else like
permission
that.
either.
And we're out there, we talk to them, I'm out there 2 or 3 times a month out there. I can tell you this, I'm on the web with them with their Bamber alert, and I can see that stuff. I see a couple of people from Bamber all the time, and I ask them, what do you guys need? What do you want? How can we help you? Always, always. And I think everybody else sees different people around the town, I mean, not their neighbors, but they know, and we get these questions all the time. How can we help you? And we do that all the time. So I think if you're going to have these wars, you're opening up a Pandora's box because it's going to be nothing but horse trading. That's what it's going to be.
That's the worst kind of government.
That's the worst kind of
How
government.
are you going to convince the Bamber person to give a flying hoot about a bulkhead in Forked River Beach?
Right.
When they might not ever even go there. I'll tell you how. Those two are going to have to sit and horse trade, and now you're getting into a gray area that I don't want any problem.
I'm not
I don't
necessarily-
do that.
You say you
Yeah,
don't like
necessarily.
Washington.
I don't do
You
that.
say you don't like Washington, you say you don't like Trenton. Washington is nothing but wards, congressmen in certain
yes.
districts. I always say, you think that.
Yes, but
that
there are
those-
lobbyists there that control our government.
Well, let me say, you think that the Iowa District 3 representatives gives a damn about what happens in New Jersey?
It's an
District
entirely
8?
different
No.
situation, Mayor.
Why is that? No, it's not.
It is. There are lobbyists that control Trenton and they control Washington, D.C. And some of them are foreign and some of them are domestic. We all know how it works. We don't have that here in our local area. It's a little bit different. And you know what? I don't mind the idea of give and take, like if we have to work through different things between each other to get things done, because that's how you build community. Really, it really is. If you have to work, if everything is so simple sometimes because you're all like on the same playing field for whatever your ideas are, you don't appreciate things as much. And I'm sure the senator knows from all of his years in government. I mean, he's had a lot of experience, so he would understand. So I just think that this is something that I think will fly, and I think a lot of people will support it because everybody that we're talking to feels like our government isn't paying attention to us. And I want to change that, and I think it's a noble cause.
Okay.
And anyway, everyone, Merry Christmas. I'm going to say Merry Christmas
Merry
because
Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everyone and a Happy New Year. Well, and stay healthy and enjoy your family, which is really the important thing. Family. Okay, thank you again for the time and the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, anybody else before I bring the closer in? Barry, come on down. Come on down, Barry.
Who's speaking?
Are you gonna, do you want to speak, sir?
I just have some questions.
So you gotta
Come on up.
You have to come
No, you gotta come up.
You have to come.
I just asked somebody at the end.
Sure, not a problem,
Sure.
not a
You don't wanna
problem,
be
not
on
a
the
problem,
microphone,
not a, not a problem. Sir, do you want to say that you had some questions?
Just your name, not your address.
Okay, Steve, yeah, I think I did that last time.
Yeah.
Steve Post, Forked River.
Right.
So, I'm up here because I'm, like, a few things. Originally, we spoke about the building being refurbished, and then it was decided an engineering company come in for $35,000.
Do an engineering report. The report was
engineering
$34,000.
report, right. So it was like an evaluation, I guess, on the condition of the building.
Correct. That would
Okay,
be a
and
good
what
way
it would
of looking
take
at
for
it.
the repairs, but not for the the renovation of the building, if needed, redesign or anything like that? That's just
The
for.
report that was done was
just
done for
repairs
an addition and bringing this building up to code.
And bringing it up to code?
Yes.
Okay. So.
And the police department included in that.
And the police department included, in bringing the police department over or separately?
No,
independently?
no, we would try to merge them in the back over here, but I don't know if it's possible
I don't
because.
think you can do that with DOC. I don't
No,
think
you
you'd
can,
be
you
able
can,
to
no,
do
you
that.
can,
Yeah,
trust me,
you
there are
can.
plenty of municipal buildings that have police departments in them.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Stafford being one of them.
Right.
And Barnegat's gonna be another one. But we were gonna merge them, but we have some grading issues here in the back, so we might not be able to merge them. We might just have to be able to put additions onto both buildings.
Okay, all right. So what I'm not understanding though is how come it was decided to go from doing that to a rateable piece of property? You have like, to see this as a rateable piece of property, you're really in hopes on selling it in the near future. What do you do if it doesn't sell? That's, that's one thing. So it's kind of like, it's a hopeful feeling. And then the other thing is like, if you brought the police station over to this building, if you have the property for it in the back, that could become a rateable piece of property. Now, at least you're gaining one out of the two for ratables. And this building, it's a brick building, it's an old building, but there are a lot of brick buildings that we know throughout the U.S. They're being refurbished and they're being modernized that look beautiful. And I just don't understand why we just automatically, instead of looking at this building that way and knowing that it's a centerpiece, it's right on the main road, it would look great, why we went right into the rateable category over here. And then I'm understanding that the addition would be how many square feet, additional square feet?
Well, it would bring us.
If you were to do
It would
it.
bring us a total of 44,000 square feet for the whole entire.
44,000 square feet. Now, and how many employees would the whole building between the police and?
You're talking close to, a little bit over 100 employees, including the police.
100 employees?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot, because I know Barnegat, they've been working out of trailers for years, the
Right.
police department. It's so bad that they have holes in the floor.
Yes.
And they're falling through the holes. I've been there. I've
And that's,
done
and that's,
walkthroughs.
that's a disaster.
there.
man.
Right,
an
it's a
ab-
disaster.
The financials on that are a disaster.
So they went from 14,000 square feet to 23,000 square feet. They have 53 police officers. They have, what do they have? They have 10 municipal employees. They have 8 building department employees. So there's somewhere around, I guess, like 72,000 employees total for Barnegat. And they have a big police.
72, you said 72,000.
72,000.
72 employees, I'm sorry. Yeah, 72 employees. So, I mean, that's like 30 or 28 employees less than what
Well, when I
your
talk about 100
intentions are.
employee, yeah, it's 100 employees, because we're over 50 in the police department,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, but you don't have over 50 in the police department, right? I mean,
we're almost
Barney-
there.
Really?
Yeah.
40-something.
Well, how many? Because I heard like.
Command
you're-
staff.
When you
you're,
talk the
running-
clerical, the
Dispatchers.
clerical, the crossing guards, the specials, the dispatchers, the police officers, you're over 50 people there.
But they don't all need offices. They don't all need offices in the building. They're all,
Well, the officers don't, you're 100%
yeah, and the
correct.
officers, nor do the crossing guards and people like that.
Correct, you're
Yeah.
correct with that.
So what I'm not understanding is how that number with the square footage came up.
And again, I explained
That's
that
like a-
earlier, I
that's-
explained that earlier, so
Yeah.
again, you have to come up to standards, and there's something that's called a circulation element. So you've gotta have so much space.
I know all about them in construction.
Okay, okay, but
I actually
there's
was
a-
on the Barnegat project.
Okay, so there's a
I'm well
circulation
aware of
element
that, yeah.
calculation that is included in all of that, that gives you that square footage, because you all need space, and COVID now requires to have this, that, and everything else. So that's, and again, I'm not happy with that circulation element, I wish I could bring that percentage down, but that's what the code says to do.
No,
And then the record storage that you have, because there are still records, while they can all be scanned, there are still records that have to be kept in perpetuity in paper.
Right, that's
So-
right, yeah. But
yeah.
you can do like Barnegat did a basement. They did a full basement for
Well,
just.
we're
for just
not, and we
records.
have
But-
thoughts to do a basement.
Okay, but my point is that there's so much that you can do with this piece of property right now. Barnegat, their budget originally was like $13 million, 13, maybe 14 million.
Correct, you're
What
right
did they
with
end
that.
up, they're around 17 total in the end. it looks like 17, maybe 18 tops. $18 million. When we're looking at like 50 at the low end plus. Now, I know that you guys are really, like the idea like with the YMCA, I thought, that you're bringing them in as a partner. I think is a great idea.
Well, we're going to see what kind of
But-
partner they want to be.
But you're not explaining to the people really what your intentions are in full. Like, this is the first time I personally heard about the YMC
Well,
joint venture thing.
You're absolutely right, because the YMCA wanted to be sure, and we wanted to build that relationship with them before they put their name to this project. And you can understand that, because if they walk away from it, they don't want to be part of it. We needed to make sure they were a good partner for us, and we were a good partner for them. So we had to build that relationship up. We've been in talks with them. I mean, Veronica took a trip up there. I used to be a member of the YMCA, so I knew what it was about. So, they're not going to put their name to something and unless they feel it's a good project. We had to explain the project to them. They had to go back and think about it, and we answered questions going back and forth. And that's when they said, okay, let's go forward. And we're ecstatic about it. We think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but like I said, I just think that, I don't know how many square feet this other building's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be comparable to your evaluation of the addition on this building.
Well, wait, there's two.
It's actually going to be less square footage probably.
Less square footage.
There's two buildings. We're talking about the indoor rec center plus then the town hall, police department, community development, all under one roof.
Right.
So it's two separate buildings that
Right.
we're looking to build.
Yeah, and when you brought Johnson Controls in here for the meeting, right? Nobody here, I don't think they had any idea why Johnson's Controls, why they're even here. And I don't think Johnson Controls really knew what they were up against, because if everything is proprietary, which I don't even know what would be proprietary with Johnson Controls, what questions would we be asking them at that point? That wouldn't be proprietary. Like, why any of our questions would fall under a proprietary subject where they were here. Like I said, what would we possibly be asking them at that point? I really felt like when they're here, they're like, well, Johnson's is here. These are the people we're dealing with.
Okay, so that meeting happened in November of 2022, okay? We did not sign the contract for pre-construction, I want to say April of 2023.
Right.
So any of those questions, there was no proprietary at that point in time. It was just discussions at that point in time.
But what did the committee, what kind of questions did you expect to even come out?
Well, we just wanted to introduce Johnson Controls, go over their background.
I think,
the professionalism that they bring to the table.
I just think that the communication between the committee and the public is really not there, honestly. I mean, because if I'm going to go in front of somebody, I'm going to present something, and I want them to buy into it. I'm a salesman, right? I mean, whether it's good or bad, I mean, I'm not judging that this is a good thing or a bad thing right now. I still have a lot to think about. But I just know that if I'm going to sell something, I'm going to put everything on the table, and I'm going to be honest with them, not saying that you're not.
Right.
But I'm going to give as many facts as I possibly can. If I have to do a PowerPoint on a screen and show everybody in here, I would do that, and I would update it every meeting.
If I remember correctly, they did take questions from the public, both sides, the Johnson Controls and the other two companies.
When I was here for that meeting, there were very few questions asked. I actually stepped up, and I was like, why are they here? What am I going to ask them? The only thing I could possibly say during that meeting are long lead times, because back then, it was like the tail end of like the real COVID, and we had long lead times on materials.
Yeah, you did ask.
Right.
You wouldn't know.
Right.
And it was like, you were waiting for like a year and a half for something to arrive. And that was like a big concern.
And that's
But
one
other
of the
than
great
that-
things about the P3 program.
You weren't here for like about 2 meetings ago, maybe 3 meetings ago, excuse me. I stepped up and I said, there is no doubt that we went about this completely backwards.
I was here when you said that.
And we did. I'm not going to say we didn't. that doesn't mean that we did something wrong. What I'm saying did something wrong, what I mean with that, what the comments about people thinking we're getting something out of this. No, we stepped into it, thought we could get it going, thought we'd have some people interested, that type of thing, once we started mentioning a recreation and all this kind of stuff. And all people care about, this is truly all they care about right now, is their taxes, what it's gonna do. And I understand it. I'm a
then
taxpayer
sell them
here
on
too,
the
and I live
idea.
on the water, so I pay a very big amount of money. I'm not saying that that's not a priority. What I'm saying is that nobody's coming to us and saying, tell me about the building. They're just blocking us. They're just blocking us,
But that's
okay?
your job.
No, no,
That's
and
your
I
job
said
is
we
to
were
sell-
wrong.
But I stepped up here, last time I stepped up here was several months ago, okay? And at that point, I had said the same thing I'm saying now. And it seems like you've gotten no further.
No, because
really-
I'm going to tell
Yeah.
you, let me just go over one thing. We met with them, right? And they came in and they showed us something and the price was not anywhere where we wanted to be. So we sent it back to them and said, let's see if we can make some changes here, do this. We're not going to keep bringing it to the public until we have what we see as a possibility, okay? We're not going to just show you this now, oh no, we're going to change that, bring it back. No, we're going to wait till they come back to us. Now, and let me interrupt myself here and say to you, after the first of the year, our plan is, we've had quite discussions on this, that our plan is that we are going to start setting up you're going to see a picture of what we're looking at once they get the stuff to us, okay? We are going to start setting up that. We're going to start having little meetings, whether it be with the Italian American Club, Pheasant Run, Seabreeze. We're going to start putting ourselves out there to give the information properly, not the prices that people are saying in other meetings. We're going to give them the proper information at that point. We have not said, this is what we're doing, and you got no decision to be made.
Well, I would suggest this.
And then we'll know
Put
if we have
together-
a dance partner in the
put
YMCA
together-
too.
Put together a narrative, right? Put together a narrative for the public.
That's what we're gonna
It's coming
Okay.
together.
That's what we're doing.
But it doesn't have to be real technical. Keep it simple.
that's what we're
And-
doing,
and-
though.
And you put together a narrative, you distribute it amongst the whole town.
But
And it's an open forum, you can explain things to them.
That's what we're going to
And,
do,
but
though.
what you're doing is, you're waiting until you get a full presentation. By that time, this crowd is gonna get bigger, and it's not gonna help you. It's not gonna help you. And also, I mean.
But I'm not gonna put out a building that looks this way right now, and that's not what we're
Nobody's
gonna
asking for a
do.
rendering or anything. You're just putting out to the public your intentions. That's all. And then you're saying about the timeline with the state, and then you don't know when.
Do you have children? Can I ask you a question? Do you have children?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you make an investment in your children?
Where you know.
Excuse me, Mr. Barley, can you please not make comments from the audience? Do you have children?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you make an investment in the future for those children?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Well, this is like a child to us,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Our town is a child to us. We want to make sure it's ready for our next generation, okay? When we're done, when most of us will be done within the next 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, we can still be here, but if not, that's people's choice, okay? But I'm saying, so in 10 years from now, when we're off of here and there's another generation stepping up and doing this job, okay? We want to hope that things are in place for them, that we didn't leave it a mess for them,
I understand that completely.
okay?
I understand that completely, and that's why I was saying originally that a renovation on this building with an addition, if you want to, in the back area where you're planning on putting the municipal building, if you come into funds later, you can build a building back there, a rec center next to the park, and with a joint venture with the YMCA, when the funds are better. The interest rates look like they're just starting to come down
down,
right now,
yep.
right? Who knows where it's going to go after the election? We don't know, but that could be phase two, let's say, you know.
We are
And then
actually
you
looking
do.
to do the indoor rec center before we would do anything
Anything
else.
else, so that we can start bringing revenue in.
Right.
Right.
We talk.
But, I mean, but that's a thought that nobody
Right.
knows about, you know?
Well-
And but this is what I'm saying is that if you want to gain their respect, their vote, and you know, their acknowledgement to saying, yes, it's a great idea, you need to sell it. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right?
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
very much.
talking so nicely.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Larry, come on down. Yeah, you're the closer. Mario, come on down. Mario Rivera. Come on, get that slider going.
I want to start off with the person who I refer to as the senator and thank him for all his work that he's done. I've met with the senator probably 5, 6, 7 years with ACS CAN. We come and see him every March and talk to him about cancer programs, et cetera. And just a little observation. This last visit, you were like, I couldn't believe how wide he was smiling. It was tremendous.
Barry.
I was so, it was like really thrilling. It
Barry,
was
did you ever run against him, though?
Never.
Okay. Just wanted
I've
to
never
check
run
it.
against
I know.
him. Correct?
Wait, didn't you run for state senate?
No, I ran for assembly.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's all right.
Well, when he was in the,
I
wait,
ran for
when he was in the assembly, did you run against him as assembly?
I didn't know him when he was in the assembly, and I didn't run against him then. So, yes, absolutely. One question, and then I have a couple of comments. 2023-335, authorizing the execution of an agreement with Foursquare Research, Inc. Can we get more info on that a little
So
bit?
it's going to be a marketing study in collaboration with the YMCA as to what the community would support in relation to an indoor recreation center. The programs that they would like to see, the price points that they would like to see, what the community is looking for with an indoor recreation center. It's the demographics of the community. So Foursquare is going to do a random selection of, I guess, marketing research as to what the community would support. It's part of the process to partner up with the YMCA.
Okay. Because I heard mention long ago about partnering with the YMCA, but I hadn't heard anything solid. So that's a
Yeah.
kind of
Like
a
we said,
solid.
we had to develop the relationship, and they had to.
So it's a solid thing now?
I'm not going to
Semi?
say, that we have not signed any
We have not
agreements with the
signed any agreement,
YMCA.
but again-
It depends on how this marketing study
Right.
comes out to see if this end of the county would support an YMCA coming down to this end of the county.
Gotcha. Understood. Okay. What I'd like to do is address, because I had to leave early when we had the meeting on Tuesday, because I had a Zoom call that I had to be on, the comments that were made from the committee through the chair in regard to a number of things. And it's Committeeman Caratolo, these are your comments, and I'd just like to address them.
Okay.
The first one, you started out in your public comments about the 2035 edict about electric cars. You don't think that's really going to happen, do you?
Absolutely.
Yes,
You
I
think it's going to
absolutely do.
happen?
I don't know if you were here in the beginning part of the meeting, but on
I
Monday, they're making the vote.
No, this is to increase the gas tax, is what they're voting on,
No,
correct?
a lot of other things are in that thing. In that, you need, go on the state website, go to the Monday meeting agriculture and look at that. We had a discussion of that at the Ocean County Mayors Association this morning. It's a lot more in detail than what people believe.
Well, it's to me, the whole concept is asinine, because
Well,
where are you getting the electric power from
not-
to charge
Mayor,
your
if I could, he
cars?
addressed me.
You're talking to the choir here.
Yes, but
Yeah, so I
but
wrote
I agree
for-
with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
Okay? Because the electric power that you're charging your cars with is coming from fossil fuel. So
Right.
what is the point, okay?
Right.
My opinion, the gentleman who is thinking of this should be wearing floppy shoes and a red nose. My opinion.
Floppy shoe. He's got funny teeth.
Clown. Okay, that was the point.
Okay.
But you made some comments in there that kind of struck a chord in, I think, during the meeting, because I had to watch afterwards. I wasn't here when, well, that part I was here for. You made a statement about the people have no vote, no voice, and that this is coming from a nameless, faceless bureaucrat. And I just have to say, okay, some people out here in the audience feel the same way about what's going on with the new town hall and recreation center. So, you know, you got to look at where you're coming from when you make statements like that. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Okay. Right. You also made comments. The next thing that I caught on it was the nitrogen in the bay. Okay. And you mentioned that the DEP and Barnegat Bay Partnership are running this, and it's a power grab and will affect every single person because of their so-called goals. You mentioned that the Ocean County Board of Health oversees the bay, And I went to the Ocean County Board of Health, and what they test for, let me see if I can get the word right,
Enterococcus.
Enterococcus and E. coli coliform.
Correct.
They don't measure nitrogen.
That's right, we don't.
Right. And what nitrogen does is doing to the bay, it's killing the vegetation at the bottom of the bay, which is important to all the sea life that's in there. So for them to look at nitrogen, it really is an important thing for the health of the bay. Okay.
But what's their end point, Barry? What's their
to
end
cut
point?
to cut the amount of nitrogen in the bay.
And if nitrogen comes from Bergen County, flows down here, and some nameless,
That was in the-
faceless
I didn't reach that one
bureaucrat
yet.
comes down here and tests
I
it,
didn't reach
do
that
they
one
close the beach in front of your house?
That's
Because right now, they call this stuff goals.
Yeah.
And when they want money, they're going to dangle carrots and nuts, and it's going to be money, because every municipality needs money. We take money, then they're going to want control. Just like, and so keep your eyes open.
The goal is the health of Barnegat Bay.
And I can
you
assure
have
you,
to
'cause
explain
I
to me.
test-
I'm going to ask you.
Go ahead.
You have to explain to me, how is water from Bergen County getting here? Because my understanding is the body of water that Barnegat Bay is part of starts at Sandy Hook and runs down to Cape May. So how is water from Bergen County getting down
There's
here?
tidal flows and tidal studies
From the ocean.
everywhere. Listen, rivers, bays, estuaries, ocean, we test all of it. And I could tell you that it's
You
better
don't
than
test Barnegat
than
Bay.
it's ever been.
You don't test Barnegat Bay. You do not test Barnegat Bay. You test beaches that are off of Barnegat Bay, but you don't do Barnegat Bay itself, okay? You do not. The ocean, I read on your site, you don't. I looked at what you...
Amherst Beach is Barnegat Bay.
What's that?
Amherst Beach is Barnegat
Yeah,
Bay.
it's not a cove, it's right on the bay.
Amherst
Barnegat Bay.
Beach is
It's
Barnegat
the newest
Bay.
one in Berkeley.
Station Road and Pine Beach. There's a list of them. We start up near
But
Beechwood, and we
again,
go all the way down.
you're testing the beaches for, say the word again?
Enterococcus.
And E. coli. You're not testing for nitrogen. The nitrogen, as I mentioned, affects the plant growth in the bay, which in turn affects all the life in the bay. Okay, so I just wanted to make that point.
Well, I'm standing by my statements. I won't walk them back, and I'm going to defend your
Yeah, yeah.
right and everyone else's right to use the bay, have boats, fish, recreate, because there's some people that don't want us to have that.
And I don't know who those people are, and you say they're who they are. And
Okay, fine.
yeah,
Well, we'll
can
see. We'll
disagree
be
on
meeting
that.
with them all soon.
We'll disagree
I'll be
on
at that meeting.
Okay, we'll disagree on that. Just to let you know, in March of 2023, and the research that I've done, the New Jersey DEP suspended harvesting shellfish in 3 areas of Barnegat Bay, Double Creek, Forked River, and Oyster Creek because of fecal bacteria counts. So there is things going on in the bay, okay? Nitrogen is just one of them. Let me see. All right, then...
We had 2 closures and 998 samples. I think those numbers are exact. I didn't know you'd talk about this tonight, but
Okay.
we had 2.
We can talk offline.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
mean,
because
I
I
go
have
along with you.
documentation, but I didn't want to be throwing
That's fine.
documentation around.
That's good.
Okay. Later on in the meeting, you were speaking with a person who was talking about the Bayfront Park in the public comments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you first comment was, why shouldn't we cut the grass?
Right.
And I think I have documentation to talk about that. But also, I came up here 2 meetings ago and spoke from the Mosquito Commission, and they definitely frown on continued cutting of the it's not really grass, of the growth that's along the bay. They spoke about that. But I have others also that when we sit down, I can show you the documentation.
appreciate
It's important. You made a comment about what's down there now.
You really like me tonight, man. I'm on. Listen, I'm down with
Pete,
it.
how many times do I come up here with a
We're
script?
good.
Come on.
This is good, man. I'm ready. I got my dancing shoes on.
Okay.
Let's roll.
Okay, you made a comment. We wanted to build the gabion walls higher, but got pushed back from owners because it would block their view. The proposal that came from Lacey Township had 3-foot gabion boxes. There was never any mention, and the only comments that came from the public when it went to the New Jersey DEP talked about the restriction of access to the water because of the gabion boxes. So if you have documentation somewhere that talks about that you were going to make them higher, when we sit down, you can show me that, because I never heard that, and I have the documentation, because I've been on this for a long time, that particular thing. I don't live there, but I've participated in the activities. You made the comment. Why is the grass down there more important than in our parks that are more frequented? And I don't know why you said Huddy, because Huddy's Tom's River. Maybe you meant Hebrew or something else.
You probably meant Hebrew.
Yeah.
I
No, he
definitely
said-
said
he said
Gilly.
Huddy.
He definitely said Gilly.
Okay.
But I thought he said Gilly.
Okay. Anyway, the reason that it's different than any other park is because of its proximity to the bay. Okay? And you mentioned about Bergen County things coming down. What we do here along the bay affects everybody else who uses the bay. All the other towns out on the barrier island and everyone else around us. That's why it's different than any other park. And I'm giving you my view.
Okay.
Okay. Again, you've said we're allowed to take care of our property in our town, but when you're near the bay like that, it's not just our property, it's Barnegat Bay. And that's very important, because the bay, again, is shared by every town all the way up Point Pleasant, et
And
cetera.
people should be allowed to use it. Boats, jet skis, fishermen.
Right, but
Yes.
if you show me documentation where they're saying they're going to restrict boats, jet skis, and I
Well, I
haven't
want
seen
them
it.
to put it in writing. What's their get? Why do they have such interest in that little spot down there when there's 117 miles of bayfront?
Because of the people,
I want-
because of the homes.
And they could put it in writing.
Because of the
I-
homes that are there, okay?
Okay.
The water is rising. We did a presentation right after Hurricane Sandy that showed over the years how far that has eroded away. I mean, you know, it's frightening, and it continues.
So let me ask you, so do you want people to use that bay at all? I mean, you're always, the guys on your side of the ledger, Barry, and you know I respect you. You frame an argument, you make a case, and so I think what the end point is, and all the people that didn't want the grass said, you don't want any, you want a sustained, if I have a piece of property, you want me to wait 5 years so I can build a house down there, to get a CAFR, to get a permit. You don't want me to put a bulkhead in. Do you want me to have a boat? Do you want me to use that? I think you have a right to use that.
People have a right to use the bay.
Yes.
Okay, what I'm talking about is doing projects, okay, that will protect the homeowners who live there, because we're a little different than many other places along the bay. These homes are right on the bay. What separates them from the bay is the property that's owned by the
Point of
town.
view of the title that I hold with this county, that bay is as healthy as it's ever been.
Okay.
For Enterococcus,
I'm going to disagree with you on that.
coli, well, I have the tests. I work with the DEP
With the nitrogen,
over
it's
there.
not. When you talk to the people about the nitrogen, which is important to the health of the bay, okay, it's not.
Okay, so if they find a nitrogen spike, they want to close it, right?
No.
Is that,
No,
I'm asking you.
No,
What
they're
do
going to
they
look
wanna
for
do?
my impression is they're going to look for the source of the nitrogen, because a lot of the nitrogen comes from fertilizer, people using chemicals, et cetera, okay? That's what they're looking for. That needs to stop if the plant life in the bay is going to
I just want to
recover.
know what they want to do
Let me ask you this.
if it fails.
You don't want us building on the bay.
Well, I'll tell you what, my opinion, I'll give you my straight opinion. If you build that close to the bay, my opinion, you're being foolish, because the water's coming up.
Okay.
And it's going to continue
So
to
you-
come up.
But wait, you're very concerned about the nitrogen in the bay, correct?
That's part of it.
Okay. So are you protesting, is your group protesting the new housing that is going on the barrier islands? Because that rainwater's going into the bay.
Absolutely.
Not,
Well, the
all
coverage-
of it's got to go into the bay. Where Macy Township.
That may be-
Some of it's going not into the bay, but good
Right.
for the stuff that's on the bay.
Well, that's why
Right.
the
But
growth.
all of the stuff on the barrier islands, it has to go into the bay.
Absolutely. You're
So-
100% correct.
So are you guys talking about stopping?
I don't know who you guys are. I'm
Well, your group,
speaking
you're
for
talking,
me.
you're saying the nitrogen. Where's the nitrogen coming from? You just said it's the fertilizer runoff. It's coming from the barrier islands.
It comes from the barrier isle. It comes from everywhere.
so-
It comes from everywhere.
So I think, go to the barrier islands and say, you guys can't build anymore, see what happens.
What I'm saying is, if you're worried about the health of the bay, this is what they're addressing,
Mm-hmm.
okay? The nitrogen, and they're just looking at it now. The nitrogen is responsible for killing the under the bay, the plant life under the bay.
It also
which is
feeds those kelp beds. Nitrogen is a fertilizer that people put on their lawns that you can buy legally by the pallet at Home Depot, and people put that on their lawns. Some of it does run off. It does become a problem after a while.
Absolutely.
Right, so.
But if you're worried about the health of the bay, this is something that they're addressing, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so how are they addressing it? Are they going to cut all the building? Are they going to close
They don't have the
beaches?
authority to cut.
They're the government. They're the state. They could do whatever the hell they want,
Well,
I bet. I bet. I'm not sure. I just
don't-
want to know what their proposals are.
They're looking,
Because when-
they're measuring the amount of nitrogen.
Why don't you guys?
Yeah, let's sit down
Yeah,
some
we
other
can- we
time.
can sit and
Go
talk.
ahead, Mayor.
I'm falling asleep. It's 9 o'clock. It's past
Go
my
ahead.
bedtime.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Anyway, da-da-da-da-da-da. You made one more.
Sure.
Everything that was done down there was compelled by another entity that made us do it. That's not the fact. The plans for what was done down there was put forward by Lacey Township and submitted to the DEP. Yes.
Well, ask Mr. Kennis, because he was in charge of that down there. And he complained to me one time, I think it was at the last meeting, he showed up, and the Save the Barnegat Bay people had, 90-some more wants that they wanted from us at the
Right,
last
but-
meeting. After an agreement had been made. After an agreement had been made in principle, we showed up, he showed up, and there was a lot more wants from the Barnegat Bay people.
But
They
I'm
wanted
saying
our-
what was done down there was not ordered by the DEP or anyone else. There was a plan put forward by Lacey Township, okay, that the DEP reviewed and approved,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So it wasn't compelled by the DEP. The plan was put forward by Lacey and approved by the
Well,
DEP. There were things that they added in.
Well, no, when you engineer, you have to, there's guidelines that engineers have to follow that.
Right.
There's not Lacey Township guidelines.
Right.
You know.
Well, there's building anything, there's guidelines.
Yeah, right.
You know that.
Yeah, right.
Okay. What I'm saying is,
It was
what
in
was done
conjunction-
down there was not compelled.
It was a combination of state rules and local rules that guided that submission.
Right, but the plan itself was submitted by
Correct.
Lacey Township.
Correct.
That's all I'm saying, and I appreciate your time.
Barry,
We'll talk.
Barry, your closure, your pitch count is way out.
My arm's hanging down to the
Sorry,
floor,
man.
Senator. Thank you much for your time.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Barry.
Anybody else in public? Come on down. Okay.
Lacey? Yeah. So the only reason I got up was you guys were talking about this subject, so we're on the same page. I agree with everything you're saying. And just so everybody knows, when I belonged to doing the Ocean County Agriculture Extension, they talked about this stuff all the time. And that's why the applicators with the NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium stuff, they cannot actually apply that stuff anymore, like a certain distance from the water anyways. And what I wanted to ask you, you said, why do they want to do it in that area? Is that the same area that they're bringing the cabling in?
No.
No.
Okay, just want to know. Okay. And then the other thing is, you guys mentioned that Orsted was over, but we still have Atlantic Shores.
No.
What's that?
We don't have Atlantic
We
Shores.
don't have Worsted anymore. They're
But-
done.
Atlantic
Yes.
Shores is not us, it's another project in another town.
Right.
With Atlantic Shores, so Orsted still owns the rights, and they will sell that.
No, you are 100%
And
correct.
so we have
Absolutely.
Atlantic Shores, they're not going to go through Seagirt with all that trouble. They might, but they're just going to buy out the work that has been done cabling. And my question is, what are you guys preparing for? Because they will be doing that. They're not dumb. Will you guys prepare in advance, like something? You just said you went to the mayor's meeting. Did Mayor Peterson, Mancini, did any of them bring up like, hey, can we have a concerted effort here to stop this? Because I'll tell you right now, as soon as they start building those things, I'm out of this state. And I have 3 other people that wanted to buy a house. They're waiting to find out what's going on. And then I have fishermen that they're being destroyed too. So all around, people at my age, like, they don't even vote because they don't trust. After all this happened, they're just like, I don't trust my government at all, which I agree with what you were saying.
Let me answer your question. The Ocean County Mayors Association, I want to say 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when this whole thing just surfaced.
Yeah.
Okay? they came out against it.
They resolved against
They
it.
came out against it with a resolution
Yeah,
and
they
so
did.
forth.
Yes, the
So that's about 4
moratorium and
years
stuff
ago.
too, yeah, and that's
That was
great.
about 4 years ago. Yes, they keep talking about
But
it.
you mentioned too that you guys lost out a lot of money
Yes.
when Orsted. So what did they pull? What were they?
Benefits.
It's a host community benefit.
Host
for
community benefits.
So what, like, they were giving you $1 million or something, or
Well, we're not going to disclose that
We're not
because we
gonna
never
disclose
signed
that.
the agreements.
We never signed the agreement, but we were.
amongst friends here?
It was a
No.
35-year commitment.
It was a big loss.
Okay, so what happens if Atlantic Shores comes to you after they buy that cabling route and want to do a commitment?
Well,
We'll
we'll
sit down and
negotiate
discuss
with
it.
them, which
So
is what we did with
Can you
Orsted.
guys have a discussion, bring it, like, kind of, to avoid what was happening here, which is, kind of not involving the public with this? And I think that's why the whole thing with the municipal complex is so tough, because people felt like it was just like underneath, like, without them knowing
With
about it.
regards to the wind turbines, whether we want them or not, unfortunately, the state of New Jersey issued them a permit.
Right.
And again.
So I understand the whole BPU, the home
Yeah,
rule,
yes.
which is, by
But
the
so-
way,
so they're
very
gonna come-
illegal in my
So
opinion.
they may be coming to us whether we sit down and be nice, play nice or not. So if we don't sit down and play nice and try to maybe get a host community benefit, we'll get nothing and they'll still
I
come here.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That argument creates such despondency with the community and people my age, because they saw people saying that very argument, and what'd they do? They just sat down, they're like, I give up. And they left, and they're
But
leaving
if we
New
sit down
Jersey.
and give up, they're gonna come to our community and we won't get a host
Anyway.
benefit.
Let me put it this way. I know you guys think this is just like, okay, you get 35 commitment money. You have to realize, and you mentioned before about your children's future, okay? You have to realize that this is, Yellowstone gets 3 million visitors a year. We get 115 million visitors in New Jersey a year here. And to act like that's nothing is just incredibly ridiculous to me. And I know that you guys are on the same page with me, but you're making the logical argument kind of that, hey, well, it's going to happen anyways, so might as well just like, can't beat him, join him type thing. But we got to fight. And that's why I was saying the mayor meeting, I know Mayor Peterson, I know all those people are trying to get everybody on board. So I'm really just, my opinion is to encourage you guys to really help out with that.
They have fought it.
But this
Absolutely.
hasn't been a topic at the mayor's meeting.
No,
over
it
some
hasn't,
time.
it hasn't,
been
it
brought
hasn't, it
up.
hasn't been a
I
topic.
know about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, he brought it up a bunch.
I was there, no, and I can tell you, they haven't talked about that. Today was the first day they talked about it, in probably a year. They haven't really talked about it because they were busy fighting it and so forth like that. But, again,
And listen, I hear from
the,
you.
the bottom line is those permits are there, okay? Whether
You guys
it's
take-
Orsted.
Can you take those permits away? I know BPU will override it.
Let me finish. Those permits are there. They're worth billions, billions. So they will either come back in, and Murphy's trying to push that now,
What's the locations? Of the
off Atlantic City, right? Off Atlantic City,
Off Atlantic City.
all right? Off Atlantic City. That will, either Orsted will come back in, because, and do it themselves in 5, 10 years, or whenever things calm down, or they'll sell them, and somebody else is gonna do it, okay? Whether we like it or not.
Who
The
was coming to
permits
you
are there.
guys? Who was coming to you guys?
Orsted.
I know,
Ocean Wind.
who, was it Tom Southard? Was it Madeline Urbish? Who was it that was coming to?
Tom Southard and a bunch of other
Tom
members
Southard.
of their
Okay.
company.
Yeah, because Weasel ever,
So,
I'm sorry.
but I will tell you this, and Veronica dealt with Orsted too. They were great to deal with. They were very
Of course they
professional.
are.
They were good. They were good.
They're destroying your everything about New Jersey that makes New Jersey great, and people don't realize, like, maybe I'm the only one that goes to the beach here. I don't know, but people don't realize that you will not go. I will not be going and staring at huge turbines. That's 1,050 foot above water and almost 350 below water. That's 1,400 feet. That's insane, and they're going to be eventually thousands of them. Right now, 100 out there, and
Right.
different lease sites. But the point is, I just really can't tell you how much I hope that you guys fight back against this a little harder. And I'm not saying that. Listen, if you could take their money and then lie, like just take their money and then do the opposite, go ahead, do it. I'm all for that, but please fight back. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I get it, but this is our beach. This is our children's future.
Your fight's at the state level.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that. And Sean La Tourette on Monday. Oh man, that guy's evil.
Thank you.
Evil, evil, evil.
Thank you for coming up and
Thank
talking.
you. Thank you.
Anybody else? This lady wants to talk? Okay.
My name
name is Leslie Mangold. I live in Forked River. I've lived here for the past maybe 8 years in Bayville, Berkeley before that. I've been very involved with the offshore wind fight myself. As far as the municipal complex, just as an aside, as a taxpayer here, I would say I hate to see that much money invested in a new building when it could be repurposed. But I'm up here really to talk about offshore wind. And Mayor, I think you said it was a done deal. Ørsted is out in
Yes,
terms of wind.
they pulled the
But
trigger.
They
They pulled
pulled the
them all forward.
trigger. But I just, for the record, want to point out, because I think the public's perception is, since Ørsted pulled out, offshore wind is off the table
No, it's not.
completely. But people think that.
Right.
We have 27 proposed, I have the Clean Ocean
Yes.
Action map here, in the New York Bight, from Montauk down to Cape May. Did you sign the letter with the mayors? No.
Did not.
And I would like to ask why.
We followed the science. I had to deal with the fact that they were concerned about the whales and the dolphins dying. And we checked with NOAA, and there was no scientific evidence of what guarantees.
Well,
Whoa, whoa.
yeah.
Look, go check the NOAA website. They will tell
Okay,
you.
well,
Wait. Let me finish. Let me finish. Go check the NOAA website. We said we'd follow the science on that. And we did. That's what we did.
So regarding the science, I'm no expert, but I do know that NOAA has done no research into like what is affecting the whales in terms of sonar or seismic testing. They've issued, is it 78,000 takes, incidental harassment authorizations, which means they're allowed to harm, displace, kill, affect navigation for marine mammals. So if NOAA says there's no science, but yet they issue a take in the construction, they contradict themselves. But
Okay.
right, and that's a whole nother thing. But in terms of science, it's that's a misconception.
Well, okay. They're the government.
But I
experts.
understand that, Lacey, you have the high voltage cable coming in to the substations here at Oyster Creek. So I could, I guess, understand why you wouldn't want to sign the letter. You did get a Good Neighbor grant, right, for $500,000 or $1 million. I was in a Zoom meeting where it was talked about, that you chaired, asking the community about what you thought would be the best way to spend that money. That was probably last fall, maybe this spring.
I don't remember. We got a federal grant for towns to do a marketing study and an economic development study for towns that have closing nuclear power
Right.
plants.
Is that the $500,000?
No,
The Good Neighbor grant?
$200,000.
Oh,
I
this
did not
was-
get a $500,000 grant, a Good Neighbor grant at all.
And then maybe I'm remembering it different, but that's what I thought.
Yeah, we got a $200,000 grant from the federal government because we have a power plant that closed in our
Okay,
community.
but you did say we lost a lot of money because Ørsted
We
pulled
lost,
out.
we lost community, host benefits. That's.
Oh, host benefits. So,
Host benefits, right.
I don't know. I mean, I would ask that you would sign that letter. And, you know, there are towns that are, let me just see if I can pull it up, that are suing the DEP.
Correct.
Based on what they've done. I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting to talk.
That's okay. That's
But
okay.
I'm
say
like
that, by the way.
trying.
Most
Right, no,
people say that.
I saw
I would've
that.
had notes.
I saw that in the newspapers today. that they're-
Okay, yeah.
It looks like all of Long Beach Island is.
Brigantine,
Correct.
yeah. there's
Not to interrupt
Cape
you.
May,
Yeah.
Clean Ocean Action's
They-
gotten
The
on
one I
board
saw
with
was just
that.
talking about Long Beach Island, that's it.
Okay.
I'm sure there's other towns that are suing.
Many towns. So I would ask that perhaps you get involved with that as well, because it is our future. It is 2.2 million acres in the ocean. It's 3,800 turbines. It is going to affect our ocean environment, not just our view, not just our way of life. It's going to affect the whole ecosystem, not to mention the bay. You're going to have a high voltage cable running under the bay.
They're going to do it anyway, probably.
Not if, with enough public outcry. I know there's billions of dollars invested. However, Ørsted pulled out because of interest rates, supply chain, et cetera. Other companies are looking at. I'm just pleading with you.
So not to
Please.
interrupt you, but let me give you my take on
Yes.
why I wasn't, one reason I'm not in favor of signing the letter, and what I hope to see in the future. We had a nuclear power plant, which was part of the lifeblood of our township.
Rateable.
And over the years, we had other municipalities turn their back on us as we tried to get it relicensed. They even came out against us. So I'm hoping, now, had that power plant not shut down, we might not have the glut we have in energy supply. Now, we're working towards hopefully replacing that power plant with something called an SMR, a small modular reactor,
Right.
which is a nuclear power plant. When that happens, I'm going to personally go to every one of those mayors who signed that letter against us, because what's going to happen is they signed that in conjunction with environmentalists. And what's going to happen when we try and bring in that power plant here, those same environmentalists are going to turn on us and say, we don't want a nuclear power plant there. So I'm hoping that they now go against those environmentalists. You know, so had they come out and helped us out, which they didn't, as a matter of fact, they did the exact opposite, maybe we wouldn't be in the financial situation that we have. And we're fine right now because we're still getting our energy receipt tax, our property taxes, and so on and so forth. But again, they didn't help us.
Well, that
Okay?
kind of sounds tit for tat, but,
Well, guess
but
what?
Oyster Creek
Unfortunately,
was
that's
the
the way it
second
is.
oldest in the country, so I
Still
think,
operating safely.
I've talked to some people that work there, I don't know.
Well,
But it's besides the point. I mean, I understand it was a rateable, I understand it was the lifeblood of the community. Personally, I mean, I was opposed to nuclear power
So
when I
you're-
was young.
you're opposed
I'm
of
for it
an
now.
SMR?
No,
Okay,
I'm
you
for
are.
it now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because I
Good.
think it's much
Okay.
cleaner.
Good to
And
hear.
I think it beats putting turbines in the ocean.
I'm with you.
But anyway, so again, I just go back to please reconsider and, maybe join the lawsuit. And
I will probably say this, let me just say, it. When the issue comes back around, and it will come back around, we'll have to consider.
please. And Monday, the 18th, I believe there's a hearing in Trenton where Governor Murphy wants to put forth legislation that if I have it clear, because I've just read about this, and Trevor you
Right.
could probably help me
I
out with
talked
this, or
about
Kathleen.
this on Monday, the agricultural committee, correct.
Okay, and that when Murphy's out of office, that this could still go through. I mean, and I'm sorry I missed part of your conversation earlier, what you were talking about with the electric cars, but just my last point on wind energy, it's like it's 38% effective. And we have, superstorms here. We have hurricanes. We have, I'm preaching to the choir. I was just going to say the same. But please, since I'm preaching to the choir, please,
Like I said, when it comes back around, this committee will have to address it.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
No, let me talk to this gentleman wants to talk. Come on, gentlemen.
Robert
Yes, sir.
Selk, Forked River. Okay,
I saw your name.
Robert Selk.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Okay. I'm against building another cathedral here.
Okay.
Okay, and I think we can work out something better, down the road, hopefully, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of things that I didn't hear before, at tonight's meeting and some other meeting.
Okay.
But just want to know that Arlene and I just want to say that we're against it. And Senator? It's been nice talking to you, all knowing you. You got a lot of my letters.
I get all your letters.
And when you were talking about
every
the,
one of your two-page handwritten letters.
talking about saving our oceans, I want our oceans saved.
Okay.
I got 3.5 grandchildren.
Yeah.
Well, this one's still in the oven. He's coming out in February. So I got two girls and one boy right now.
Very good.
And I want them to be able to go to Loveland, Point Pleasant, Island Beach State Park, wherever they're going to be living. Point Pleasant, who wants to walk there? It's going to take 4 hours to get there.
God bless you, my friend.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Merry
Anybody else?
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Quick. We want to get out of here.
I did too, because you said something that I
Oh,
have to
here we
correct.
go. Go ahead.
You said NOAA scientifically said
Okay.
that, okay? There is so much wrong with that. One, I was actually following the AIS of all these vessels and stuff. They didn't even report it in their reports, okay? There's level A, B, and C reports, okay? Level B and C, you guys are gonna love this. Proprietary, so they don't get to share it, okay? Just like we were talking about before, which is why everybody gets upset when they use that word. And then the other thing is Trenton hearing in May, and this was the Dem hearing, not the Republican hearing, the Dems. said that AMCS, which is AMCs, are the ones that actually do the necropsies. They come in from New York and they do the necropsies. So Sheila Dean from the Marine Mammal Stranding Center gives it to them. They prepare the tissues and they send it out to their own labs. Well, they're funded and boarded by Jennifer DuPont of Equinor Wind, John Cush of the Carpenters Union, which, as you see, they're the ones out there with the jerseys all the time trying to push this. And then there's a bunch of other people that are on the board that are pushing the wind farm. So saying the fox guard and the hen house is science is not. That's called corruption. So totally not science.
Okay.
And then the other thing too, and the scientists at the Trenton hearing said it was 208 decibels, their own person. In their draft EIS, they said it doesn't go over 180 decibels. And if you know anything about decibels, water decibels, every time you go 2.5, that's doubling. That's way more than what they said. So just want to clarify.
Thank you very much. Motion
Motion to close the floor.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Resolution 2023-347, resolution Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the convening of an executive session in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Move it.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
Move
No,
it.
we have to do a roll call on the resolution.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano? Yes. Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Absolutely.
Motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Move it.
All in favor? No further business.